Hey friends, welcome back. We were off last week because I had some family stuff, which was tryouts for soccer, and she made it. So woo! Yeah, I had to go dad it up and help out with soccer stuff. So that was fun. But we're back this week for another episode, and we'll do a little round of introductions. We'll start with David, who is unfortunately out this week. Unfortunately, David, we miss you. Sam. Don't congrats that literally because we were all late thirsting over Serene in beachwear. Oh my god. It was good. Oh man. It was a okay. Whew. Before we're all back to thirst mode, we're gonna go to Nate.
Hi, I'm Nate. I play Soren, the half-elf blade singer rogue.
And Doran. Oh my. Sorry.
Hey everyone, I'm Zach. I play Doran, the Dragonborn Barbarian.
I'm only slightly sauced and this gin and tonic is gone, so that's all my fault. But Maddie, you're up next.
Hello, I play Isadora. Gotta find the camera to look at.
Next up, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Maximil, the Tiefling Sorceress Bard.
And last but not least, whose camera I'm gonna fix really quick here because he's
I'm super
off-center.
high.
You're super high. Come down from there, Josh. There we go. You're up, Josh.
I'm Josh. I play Jaeger, the human alchemist gunslinger.
Fantastic. Last time we were here, some shit went down. Side note, hi mom. We all gotta get that hi mom out there.
Hi,
just-
Mom.
I just saw her come in here. Yep, I gotta get my hi moms in cat. And chat. Let's see. And copy and paste. There we go. Good enough.
Just as obnoxious as we can be about it.
Absolutely, we all love mom here. So, last time we were
Got
here,
the emotes.
excuse me. We do finally. Everything's cleared. Oh my gosh. Last time we were here, we wrapped up with finally getting to see what happened to the Midnight Parliament during the Siege of Basad. During the previous episodes, a lot of stuff went down. We got to witness the Wardens of Everything, a young adventuring group trying to get out there and counter attack what was out in the distance, which they successfully did, only to find out that, it's a very young guy who seemed to be pretty lucky had channeled some terrible energy and exploded into a bunch of chunky pieces. And before that, we had our Busat Guards company, which remind me of the name because I cannot find it for the life of me.
The something of everything?
No, Wardens of
No,
Everything was
that was
our.
the other one.
Oh.
Not Stalwart.
I feel like it was like the Stalwart Wall or something like that. I forget.
No, no.
Lordy.
They had an awesome name too, and we loved them. They're dead, almost all of them, but we loved them. Can't even find it on Discord. It's just listed under the Guardsman stuff thread. Unfortunately, they did not quite make it either. But we did find out that they were able to successfully subvert the attack of a bunch of the undead serving Amana as they made their way to the western flank. Successfully or seemingly unsuccessfully, but they stymied the tide of undead charging against Busat, which gave you all enough time to face down your greatest threat this party's ever known, Galaxolin, that left Maximil's uncle beheaded underneath Katya, that absconded from the group, killing Diggin supposedly in the process, but making his way to Busat, threatening Soren and everybody else for coming near to him, picking up that dagger that Guy had, but he's left plastered on the ground as Maximil is... Oh, she remembered it, the Unwavering? Yes, that's it. The Unwavering. Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks, Sarah, for saving the day. It was the guards were the Unwavering. Give him the dab. Hit him with the dab.
Bug me.
It would have bugged us all the entire game.
Yeah.
No, we had a fantastic group of guards and young adventurers trying their part to save Busat. However, it was the most powerful heroes currently in Busat, the Midnight Parliament, that stepped up and faced down the leader of Amana's army, one of the two dukes of Amana, Galaxolid. And we come back in to this grisly scene outside of the gate. Galaxolid having said some, not knowing that they were ripped off, but kind of found online, but super cool words that's really fit, and I liked them a lot, so I used them. I was like, that's a cool quote, I want to use it. But these words from Galaxolid to Maximiel, enjoy this victory, then look to the stars and tell them you've won. As I think it was Soren who struck down the final blow, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got a hit on him.
Soren who got the final blow against Galaxolid. And you're all just outside of the northwestern gates. The army of Amana driven back by Freondiri, early morning hours outside of Busat, as Shautha and Mateo stand from the ramparts, calling guards to this place, waiting for more. But as you all catch your breath and look up over the smoldering wreckage of what's left of Galaxolid's heated metal throat and multiply
She's still
stabbed,
keeping it going.
the heated metal is still just singeing.
Yeah.
And drips of this of metal, of like molten slag, are coming off the back shoulder blades of Galaxolid as his eyes lay dead in the sand.
Max is trying to decapitate him.
Roll me an emphasis check. So 2d20s, highest versus lowest beyond 10.
Come on. I got a 10 and a 20.
Yeah.
After a few short minutes, you hear the sizzling sound of molten metal dripping off the back of his shoulder blades into the sand. And a brief moment later, as you pull that final Qatar out and the body slumps, the head falls first. Boom, boom, and the head lolls down the sand a ways.
Couldn't one of you like scoop that up and crack it open and like study it?
Max is the plan.
Goes, grabs it, puts it in the bag of holding, and just goes, "Good luck getting your friends to get you back now."
God.
The smoke fills your lungs from the burning trees, and you can smell the slightly rotted corpses of those that have fallen out in this field. A few that have caught fire and burned, but the few that you've saved as well, making their way back into Basat behind the gates. The guard stepped up, and you can see Shautha and Mateo both standing in the gate, getting the guards to hold the line, but looking out and seeing that the majority has been turned away. Freondiri breathes her last breath into, not her last breath, but her last breath attack into some of the remaining, they have a name, I gotta remember them, putrefiers,
I think.
And she breathes across some of the remaining putrefiers, and they take off. She looks back briefly. I will check up on you later. I must see to the young ones.
Go.
She takes a brief beat of her wings, takes off slightly to the right, and you see her lulling a bit to the edge as she gets her arms back under her and her wings into the distance.
Hey,
Everybody
Soren.
alive and
You don't
accounted
look
for.
too hot.
I'm not
No,
quite
I'm
sure how Jaeger managed to go completely unscathed from that entire situation.
Oh,
Max is gonna cure wounds onto Soren, who looks very bad.
yeah, I'm not doing good.
Just,
seared cut marks
here.
across my face.
Has it been 10 minutes before it was start of combat? I think is when I need the timer for 10 minutes.
It has been less than 10 minutes.
Okay, so I have detect magic going. Do I see anything magical as I examine Galaxolid?
Or the big crater over here.
Or yeah, the area around here.
So the
The
big
guy crater.
crater, you do sense something, or no, you sense a faint aura of magic coming off the crater, but the same magic that lays by Galaxolin's tail, gripping that dagger.
I
That now
will
Botrin
move
has
closer.
a keen interest in. It seems to be kind of drawing Botrin towards it.
I'll just watch Botrin. I won't say anything. But I'm interested now.
So you sense strongly coming off of this is specific magic. Have a school. Give me a second.
Unharmed.
Illusion magic. Because you have detect magic for schools, correct?
Yeah, I
So
can
you-
see what magic it is.
You sense illusion magic off of there, but then also the strange cacophony of magic that makes up Botrin as he enters the dream.
Of the knife?
Off of the knife. So you sense bits of divination and necromancy, as well as evocation and enchantment coming off of that knife. Just that there's a group of magic that seems to be prominent when Botrin is doing weird dream shit, as you might call it. And it's that collection of like these different cross sections of magic that you would call like the dream. When they are doing that weird stuff that kind of feels like the dream. But there's also a very strong sense of illusion and necromancy coming off of this.
What are you sniffing over there, Jaeger?
Nothing.
Make an
Your
arc-
face says otherwise.
Sure.
Give me an arcana
Let's-
check, Jaeger.
Stupid spear that he stabbed me with. Pick that up.
22.
22. Not only is this incredibly powerful magic coming off of here, but you sense that it's coming from some sort of... While your crystals feed into you and create energy as a combination of you as a living creature plus the aether of magic, this is something that is living in a purely ethereal form within that item.
Okay, I'm just kind of perimeter walking around Botrin, just watching, but I'll be sure to just like look out for any other unknown magic entities still in the vicinity, guard completely up.
Botrin is drawn to this item. You easily understand that there's a strange link of chains coming off of the back of it. Make a perception check for me or an insight check, your choice.
Well, that's gonna be a perception.
Max goes up to door.
Nice.
25.
Can I
Nat
try and
20.
insight and see
All right.
see if Botrin is like himself in this moment, or if it's like some sort of trance.
Make an insight check, sure. So 19 points of healing from a cure wounds from Maximiel to Doran, correct? Okay, Doran, 19 points of healing to you. 25 on the perception check from Jaeger, and 20 on the insight against Botrin. Botrin does seem like themselves in this moment.
Good.
Botrin doesn't have Spackle back yet, because Spackle did get poofed out. But Botrin seems very drawn to this item. Jaeger, you would, with the perception check, there's something else, but naturally just looking at this and your high insight to begin with, Botrin's drawn to this for the reasons of the dream. Like there's something dream about this, like something tied to Botrin and their patron deity for their warlock levels. Like a little out of character, but you understand that patron that they've aligned themselves to. They've tattooed the image of Caritas upon their calf, I think it was, and that same energy's here. However, what your 25 perception gets you, the links on the back of this weapon that are linked onto the bottom of the hilt are added after the weapon was created. These are new pieces of link chain that are attached to this weapon.
And those links are what's attaching it to Galaxolin?
Those links were picked up and then started to wrap on that chain. You didn't get a good picture of it and like see exactly how it looked. It seemed like those links may have had something to do with what happened to Guy, but they are not part of this actual weapon itself. These are something added after the fact. It looks like a masterpiece, like a piece of brilliant artwork that's been painted over by someone who'd be considered well off in their own time, but not near the level of a master. Not amateur work, but high level professional work of a small era, not a large spanning legendary master.
So this tail from Galaxolin, is it still clutching with metal
No.
the blade?
As Galaxolin is dead, it dropped in the sand next to him, and when Botrin's kind of looking at it and moving it around, the chain links off the back of it are no longer connected to anything.
Then can I just can I kick the blade, or attempt to can I kick the blade up and try and grab it, and then from the actual blade itself catch it and then hold it out for Botrin to grab? Just be like, seems like you're interested in this.
I'm not going to make you roll for that. That's a little... You kick it up, grab it by the blade, and hand it out to Botrin.
Before we connect ourselves to anything that the enemy was using, maybe we identify it first. Have some people run checks on it.
Yes, that
Just in
seems like a
case.
good idea.
Botrin's
Let's,
like
you
reaching
know.
out to touch it.
I don't know. Botrin kind of seems like he would know the most.
Let me double
Like
check
they would be
Botrin.
the expert.
I'll kind of recoil a bit and hold it back. Botrin, you sure?
Botrin does not have identify. Yes, I'm very interested what's in this weapon.
Works for me. I don't use blades. Especially if that's what happens.
So if anybody wants to cast identify on it, they sure can, but the guards are starting to kind of like pool up and at the gate, and you see that there's
Are the gates open again?
the gates are open again, and as most of the undead have moved away at this point and are starting to move off into the distance, those riders that were out causing a sort of a distraction have come back at this point and have routed the remaining forces of the enemy. You can see smoldering trebuchet in the distance, and cheers start to erupt from the city behind you. It seems that the day has been won for Busat, and most of the guards are taking to celebrate. So we'll go to Maximiel first.
First, I was wondering if, while this is all happening after she heals people, could she turn over Galaxolin? This is going to sound weird, but take his arm and like put it behind his back and try to use his mantis blade to open up the little hinge on his back.
Oh yeah, that like special spot.
Yeah.
I was just gonna take his whole body, honestly, but
Does anybody have that dagger? Where'd that dagger go?
I don't know.
the
I think we gave
the-
it back to the guy.
Yeah, the
He
little
wanted
gnome
it
still has
back.
Asked him if we could keep it, and he's like, "No, mine."
Yeah. But I'm hoping that because it's the same material, it may work. I don't know.
So you take the mantis blade seems to be open slightly from the last attack. There's still a bit of fresh blood on it from where Galaxolin struck.
It's mine.
I know. Right? It's horrible,
But-
mixing together.
Max,
My
why
bad.
are you healing everybody when you're about to fall over dead?
Whatever
don't worry
was-
about it. She's like bleeding from her chest.
Whatever was happening that held this whole chassis together has started to power down, and you're easily able to get the mantis blade under that back panel and pop it open. There's actually a soft blue light blinking on a flat panel inside of the creature. The chassis, whatever this used to be it Galaxolin or Diggin, but it's a soft blue light that I'm gonna need you to roll an insight check for.
Oh, okay. Ah, bad.
Beating a 12, what you're looking for.
Actually, you know what? I have some left over, so I'm gonna use a sorcery point to redo that because
Okay.
it was that bad.
Okay.
I'm forgetting you can do that. That's so insane.
Once we lost you for a second there, Max.
It's
You got,
11 points better. So,
Oh no, it's laggy.
you got
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
Robot Max. Oh no, Galaxton's taking over Max
Oh
Mill.
no.
All right,
17.
17's good enough to. There's something familiar about this blue light. It's blinking on whatever this panel is. It reminds you of Diggin, and it entices you to touch it.
I always touch strange objects.
So you reach forward and boop, click this little button, and within earshot, everybody can hear. Pass it over to Josh. Josh, you have the helm.
There's a strange kind of almost like a voice box recording that plays, and it's glitchy in this moment, and it's kind of fading in and out, kind of almost like a broken doll. But you hear voices of your own, and it's just bits of recordings. So you hear Maximiel just say friend. You hear Doran say we're family in your own voice. You hear Soren kind of chime in and say it's going to be okay. We're in this together. And it all accumulates into this little recording that has been saved, and it kind of repeats itself and it repeats itself. And then the final message is just, thank you, friends. No. Thank you, family. And it just fades.
Damn it, Josh.
So,
Got you again.
got you
We're
again.
not leaving him here buried. in
Max
sand.
just starts bawling,
Just pull her in.
and she's like, she hugs the
Isadora
body.
comes close to her and just is like, "Be careful, you're gonna leak all over the place. We need to get you a healing potion or something, girl."
How heavy is the body?
A urine chassis is about 280 to 320 pounds of salt. Even though it's very, very thin, it's very dense metal.
Dense.
Yeah.
Look
Alright.
over at Doran. And
Got this.
Isadora, just whoever.
Yep.
Would you mind?
One
carrying
moment
it?
before we do that, I want to do this, and I'm gonna reach out and touch Max on the shoulder and use bolstering magic to. Hey, you can have
Suspended spell
what
slot.
is that? Yeah.
Ooh, so you get a expended spell slot.
You get a
of 3 or
third
lower.
level spell slot.
Ooh, thank
Up
you.
to
A
third.
dragonborn knows magic.
Hey, it's a wild
No,
magic dragonborn.
the Dragonborn is magic.
Right? Dragonborn is a magical dragonborn.
Dude. All right, let's hold this body inside.
It was him.
Who's carrying the head?
It's in the bag of holding.
Max.
By holding
Yeah.
Max has.
What's the
Max's.
marching order back in? And who's carrying the body? Maddie
I
at the
guess I would
front.
lead us back to the arcanery if it's still there. Just since that's kind of been our base of operations.
Soren, since it's your arcanery.
Yeah.
Roll a D100.
Oh dear.
Leave it to
Oh.
chance.
On a 0
dear.
to a 5, on a 0 to 5, the arcanery got hit.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's way better odds than I thought I had.
Yeah, you're
Sick.
pretty deep in the city. You got a good chance. So,
Cool.
you are fine.
She stands.
Your
Is my
arcanery
house
is-
also still there? There's two separate things.
House is a little bit more on the main street, 0 to a 10% on the house. So you had 10% chances
Ooh.
posted. House is fine.
Yay.
So you're good.
Okay.
Your neighbor's house, however, gone.
That old
That old guy. That old
Yeah,
guy.
Herb is dead. Toasted.
44, Herb's
44.
fine. Herb's fine.
Hey.
Damn it.
What about that blacksmith that I live next door to?
He's fine too, because he's part of the house. He's fine. He's
Okay,
fine.
cool.
He's fine.
Just
Roll
see
for the
catches
block.
Stray rocks. Yeah.
Isadora
We'll
just
go-
kind of sumo squats and scoops him up and is holding him like this, like, all right, let's do this.
I'll go over to
Feel
Max.
All right.
Don't worry, Max. I'll be gentle.
Shoutha at the gates looks over the group of you as you're coming in and stops you briefly. But she sees the group of you kind of come in. Does that thing need to really come inside the gates?
It's for research.
Thing
I
was
carried it
one
all
of
the
us
way here.
once.
Please don't tell me to put it down.
I understand it's heavy, but back as well.
Get really close to her. Look her straight in the
Ooh.
eyes.
That's a natural 20 for her. Was that Diggin that was with you all?
Yes.
What
Diggin
happened?
was something else. Inside, Diggin was a mask on top of whatever this thing became. It was a tool of the enemy. We mean to understand it. There are others out there still. If it has a weakness, we will find it.
He was in there the whole time.
I understand. Should we? We're still getting our bearings here. The city leadership, obviously, in question, and you can see down the street because the 7 roads that lead into Busat's center are fairly straight, and it doesn't take much for Botrin, Jaeger, and Jaeger to notice in the distance 4 people hanging from ropes off the side of the bastion on this road leading out of Busat. The guards and those that were loyal to the knights took some action against the traitors. So, at
All of them?
this, as far as we know, at this point, Mateo here is your captain of the guard until we get things in better position, but we have a few dignitaries from the Luminary Academy that can be trusted, and there's a few that have fled to the desert, and a couple that are still being hunted down that we're on their trail for, but hopefully we'll have our answers soon.
Look back at the rest of the group. Are we all right with hunting them down? Because I have a bit of a personal investment in this.
Don't they need us here?
Do you need us here?
You could hunt them down, but it might be beneficial for you to meet with the leadership of the academy first. I mean, it's
We
good to
should
know
stay
that the Midnight Parliament is still alive. I thought you all dead after your last mission from me, or from Fort Rowing there, but now that I'm working for Mateo, it's good to see that I can put you back onto the active roster. And maybe you get some information and some rest and a little bit of the assistance of the guild before you leave.
I think meetings are probably due for a later date. We've had a very trying 48 hours.
I think that Mateo would agree with you and that you all should do what you see necessary. and we'll schedule a time for the morning. I'll send a boy. Where should we find you?
At the Arcanery. Down the road.
Very good.
Is
Shall
there a bar? Is there a bar next to the Arcanery?
I don't know, Ben, is there? I forgot.
There's a bar down the road, but Shoutha hearing you be like, "Hey, is there a bar?" Shoutha, you all came to the defense of the city. The city will come to your need. Food and drink will be brought to you. Please, get rest. You all had a very long day. We all did.
You heard that,
but-
Max? You gotta take good care of yourself. Can't let yourself be on the brink of death and then be saving everybody else when you're about to drop dead yourself. Come on, girl. If you don't look
Shoutha,
after yourself, I'm gonna.
Shoutha will lean in and kind of pick you up, Max, into a big bear hug. Since the day I met you, when you had that damned book that you had to bring back, you've been a survivor. You'll survive this, girl. Don't worry. Just set you down and give you kind of a slap on the butt, a little softball slap to. On your way now, Maximilian. You'll be fine.
Just wrap an arm around her. Come on. Let's get you home.
The scene through the city as you make your way back to the Arcanery is people coming back to broken homes or finding that miraculously the whirlwind of devastation didn't touch them. Those that are blessed enough are out in arms, helping their neighbors, putting things back together, trying to get rubble and destruction cleared from their homes so they have a roof over their heads for the evenings. You see great hordes of people lining up for quick meals, hot stews and breads. Any place that serves food has pretty much got food and drink in the street to keep people well fed as the recovery of Busat goes on into the night. But nobody stops you to ask for assistance.
I would like to stop and help anyway, if that's possible.
Same.
Shuffle them back to the house and then head back out and either move rubble or whatever I would be good at, I think.
Yeah.
If anyone
Big-
looks like they're in dire need of healing as well,
Okay.
Max wants to help.
What are you doing with the body of Galaxolin or Diggin? Which would you guys prefer I call him at this point? Diggin or Galaxolin, because it's his chassis is all that is left.
Dig in.
Dig in.
Take
What
Are
are
we
you
dropping
doing
it off
with
at-
the body of Diggin?
Are we dropping it off at that one spot,
Arcanery.
the Arcanery, Soren?
Yeah, I think it'll be safe there. Put it on
You-
the second level,
You want me to watch it and stay here?
if you like.
Yeah, I don't know how much help. I mean, I can be of help, but I don't really trust.
I'll bring you
This
whatever you
body.
need, Edgar. It's really kind of you
It's
to
fine.
volunteer yourself like that.
Sure nothing happens
Patron.
with it. Make sure no one breaks in or anything like that. There's bound to be looters.
Bring it.
Soren, make an insight check for me.
Sure. Hiya. So that's technically, what do I treat it as, an 8? Or is it there's that thing I have.
I think your thing is a 10 base, isn't it?
It's no, because that's the reliable talent one. This one's I can treat it as an 8. So 18.
18. Okay. With an 18, you note that a bit of good that's come from all of this is there's a sense of emulation of you as you look to see the sons of Soren making their way through the streets. And you see a couple of fights in the distance that look unnatural to you for a moment, but then you realize that it's people that may have been taking advantage, and some of the older sons of Soren have decided that they're not standing for that sort of activity and are dragging the ne'er-do-wells out to be flogged in the streets for embarrassment, but not harming in a sense of permanent harm, just enough to embarrass them and drive them away. And then they turn to help those that are in need.
How many kids would be the I guess justices in this situation?
3 in this particular situation on your street.
I'll toss them each a gold coin.
Oh,
Good work.
thank you, sir. We'll stay on it. And they immediately run down the street, spreading the word. Sons of Someone's here to protect you. Please go about your business. We'll keep your home safe.
Before everyone leaves the arcanery, can I go up to Isadora?
Absolutely. Oh wait,
Hey,
sorry. No. I had to do it once. You guys always ask so
Actually, no, I
nicely.
can't.
Sure. Okay,
That's
fine.
good. That's good.
I'll go upstairs. I mind my own business. That's okay. I'll see myself out.
You guys always ask so nicely. I had to do it once. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That was great.
Isadora, before you go out, you grabbed a book from down there.
Yeah, I did.
Do you mind if while I'm here, take a look at it and kind of get some headway on what was happening down there, maybe?
Yeah. I grabbed it hoping that I would find out more about the condition that I have.
You looking
But,
for something specific? I can
Anything
leave some
about
notes.
being touched. If you
You-
find any information, let me know.
You might not want to say that out loud anymore, but it's okay. Yeah,
I mean, it's just us here.
I got family to find, I guess. And then I'll just shoot Max a look. This will
As
only
you,
do some good.
As you hand him the book, Isadora, I need you to make an insight check, and Jaeger, I need you to make a willpower save.
Oh,
What is a willpower save? Wisdom save?
Wisdom save. Wisdom save. Sorry.
brain.
System process. Oh god.
Oh, as a
Well,
past
20.
books that I found as well too.
20 and a 4. And Jaeger, make a perception check for me. Jaeger, something moves behind you, slightly behind and to your right. Isadora, you just grab the book. Nothing seems out of the ordinary.
It is beyond instant, and I'm just gun out.
You look behind you and nothing's there.
What's wrong?
Monocle. I'm casting See Invisibility.
Nothing.
Dude, you okay? You're kind of tweaking out.
Soren,
Yes.
there's something watching.
Soren, you can
But
make a
I don't
perception
see it.
check if you were right there as well.
I have dog shit perception, but let's find out. I think it's a 0.
I think he said something to Max too, so Max, you can make a perception check as well.
Oh no,
Why isn't that using my resource?
I actually have a bonus for that. 16 total.
Nothing. You see nothing behind Jaeger as he turns and points his gun to something that was behind him.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Nothing.
Is it invisible?
I don't see anything.
And it's not there.
What about Botrin? Does Botrin see anything?
Botrin's down twiddling with the knife, but not quite holding it.
Max grabs some dust off of the table and just spreads it in the air from behind.
Yeah, I'm
Jaeger.
rolling an emphasis check for that, sure. 19 and a 20. Okay, so yeah, it floats behind Jaeger and the dust does not get into your nose.
Just
Nothing.
Put a
Jaeger,
hand on his shoulder.
something was there.
Jaeger, do you still want this book?
I mean, yes.
Okay.
I don't believe it's the book, but look,
Max
I just-
wants to look deeply into Jaeger's eyes and see if she sees anything weird.
Jaeger smells of
usual.
stale cigarettes on his breath. But nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. You do actually have quite nice eyes. That they're pretty, but not strange.
There's a
I mean, if we want to talk about his best feature, you see the salt and pepper hair? Pretty
There's a
unique at that age.
slight
You're really young for
discomfort.
silver.
slight discomfort in the crystal that's cracked in your right arm. And it itches slightly, Jaeger, but nothing stands behind you.
Maybe it's just a long day.
We're all on edge. We've had a very long series of moments.
Could really use a beach day.
Had to fucking inspiration for Maximil. Come on. Quality.
Oh, God.
All right.
Max, you just want to see me in a bikini, don't you?
What? No.
Maximil,
This
please
sounds like
don't be so
That's
shameless.
So,
I hate sand.
you all you leave the body
Rough,
of
and it's coarse, gets everywhere.
you leave the body of you leave the body of Diggin behind, with Jaeger watching over and Botrin seemingly obsessed with this dagger. Anybody casting Identify before they head out? 'Cause I know you guys said you wanted to identify it.
Now that's
Yeah.
a later thing, I think. You have Identify?
I mean, when she was handing over the book, should I roll to see like whether or not I've picked up or garnered any information with the time that I've had with it?
Did you read the book whilst sprinting through the sewers?
I didn't read it, but it's like
Nope.
the cover, right? Like,
Nope.
is there any information?
It doesn't work for college exams. You can't osmosis the book either. Sorry.
No, I'm just talking about information in the book. I'm talking about like the title, the
if you
author.
just
Like, is there
hold
anything
it
on the cover?
really close, just
Nope.
I'm gonna open it up and then just go.
The smell. Waft it.
Oh,
It smells like a sewer.
what's the bouquet of this book?
Roll me a d20.
No wonder you're the gun tank. You can't read. Makes sense now.
I'm
Excuse me,
literally
I can speak
Literally-
languages.
literally
I've negotiated
all right.
deals
With a 13, it's above a
businesses.
10. It's above a 10, so you get the slight hint of blue cheese off of the smell of this book.
No, I wasn't talking about that. There's nothing
Nope.
written on the cover.
Not enough for you to glean any information. It
Okay,
seems like
alright.
a
Good enough for
tome
me.
of sorts, and you get the blue cheese scent because you wanted to waft a scent. There you go. I literally
Damn, I was
googled
really
random
hoping
scent
for the-
generator.
Nice.
I was really hoping for like the old smell of like books, you know, like
Blue
that
cheese.
smell
Sewer
of
books.
paper.
Blue
Not
cheese.
sewer books.
Ew.
Oh, jeez.
Sewer book blue cheese. There
Apparently,
you go.
Son of the
Uh.
Oathbreaker ate some cheese.
That makes sense.
It's not Senna's book
It was
either.
cheese.
It was Jitanya's book.
It was still alive
Whoever
upon
owned
it.
this,
Anyway,
whoever owned this needs better personal hygiene.
I picked
So-
up apparently 20 pounds of books and scrolls from the lab entrance, so I'm just gonna dump that in front of Jaeger and just be like, "Here you go, have fun."
Have
Uh-oh.
fun. If you need any beer or something, I'll just let me know.
Near that
Does
time.
anybody have a Rocky Talkie?
Near that time,
I
the
do
door
have
kind of gets pushed open as a couple elderly ladies come in. One with a cask in one arm and the other with a big pot of stew, and they just set it down with a bunch of wooden bowls. The Shouther said you needed this. Said to bring you all food and drink,
Yes,
Please-
thank you. So much.
and to encourage you to rest and get your strength back. That you have many trials ahead.
Have you had any yourself? Have you had time to stop?
Yes, we're fine. Thank you. We're working and getting enough food. Thank you.
Do I believe her?
Absolutely not. This woman and the nun next to her are both chapped-lipped, dry, have not eaten or
gonna-
drank anything in hours.
Walk over, close the door. Please sit, join us. We have a table.
Uh,
You are exhausted just as we are. Come.
No,
come, come.
we have to feed many. Please.
Isadora pulls the anime like hand against the wall, just like leans in on against her, like making a move. But
If there
I
has been a
really
lesson-
implore you, sweetheart.
No one's called me sweetheart in 20 years, and you are quite large. Thank
Max takes notes in the corner.
I mean, you don't lie to me. You enjoyed it.
I better have some soup now, ma'am. Oh,
Good.
If there is a
good.
lesson for
She-
today,
she-
it is
she
take care of
gives her a little
yourself
pat.
first.
Yes. Speaking of taking
They'll
care
both
of things,
like sit down and take about a third portion of soup. It's a very hearty stew. Busat has plenty of food available. It's not like you guys are scrimping on the very bare minimum here. They just made a big pot of stew, and they brought you guys a small portion of that, enough for about 8 people. They take a small portion each, and then they tap the keg, and it's a Busat wine. It's a red that's grown here with bitter red grapes from the jungle. So it's got a very earthy, sharp taste to it.
I was really hoping for a mead.
What?
This'll do. This'll do. I'm thankful.
Would you like me to pour you a cup, Miss
Isadora.
Oh yes.
I mean, as long
ma'am.
as you take a sip first.
Absolutely. And she pours like a cup, and she takes a sip, and she's like, hands it up to you.
Thank you.
This is a 50-year-old woman who's having things drawn into question here.
Isadora very, very subtly and quietly leans a little bit like to Jaeger's ear. I don't trust him.
That's funny. Jaeger will just go up and scoop from the cask and get some soup and just look at the 2 ladies. You're no servants here. You're part of this. Eat up. You don't leave until both of those things are clean. I mean empty, not clean them.
Yes, sir. So they'll both eat with you guys. There's plenty of food to go around. They both get a good meal. It's very clear that they were woken up at the initial attack, and then first instinct first, take care of people. They've been probably working for hours taking care of people.
I'll just go back to Isadora. Common folk aren't the ones you should be worried about, especially the ones that arrive on time.
I'm fucking ancient compared to these ladies. I don't really know how to read them anymore.
I mean,
Maybe
you need
don't
an
read
insight-
old ladies.
Don't need an insight check to tell that one of them's questioning her sexuality over there.
Yeah. Just having a little moment of just.
Absolutely. After the fucking hand against the wall over her. Oh. All right.
Yeah,
But
maybe too much
And then-
enforcing in your past there, Isadora, but maybe you should go a little bit easier on the flirtatious approach that you just took.
Yeah,
they might be a little bit easier to
trying
read.
It just kind of comes out.
I can see that. Get some soup.
get some
I'm gonna
fucking
go
soup.
read.
Jesus Christ.
as we're eating,
Just
I'm
smack some
gonna,
quarter.
Max is just
Bring
taking
them.
notes.
Soup. Place arm on wall. Be taller than normal.
Hey, Max, you got to enlarge. You're good. So,
Cast enlarge. Hey.
perfect.
What are you
15
casting
feet
enlarge
tall.
on?
Hey there.
You know. But she would like to give inspiration to the 2 ladies to try to help them out. Just when she's thanking them and helping them like clean and pack, she's going to give inspiration so they can use that later in the day
Absolutely.
because they look like they need some
They,
inspiration.
Max's bardic inspiration comes in the form of like poetry and storytelling, correct? Not song necessarily.
No, it's talking.
Okay. So I mean they listen as you talk about the day and encourage them to try hard this afternoon and this morning, that people are going to need their help, and they get the hearty breakfast in them, and they get a little bit of the wine. The one lady who got Isadora'd, that's now a verb, who got Isadora'd, she definitely takes an extra cup of
Hey,
wine.
Isadora.
But yeah, you all are, it's a fairly hearty breakfast. Like, you all just basically sprinted up from the sewers and are on empty stomachs, and this recharged the batteries for sure. And you all can take a short rest.
Nice. Then Song of Rest, so everyone gets an extra
How do I
hit die.
undo?
Do you
And,
roll that or do we roll that?
I think I do.
Well, you get an extra
yeah,
hit,
you get 1d6.
1d6 additional. Yep. So make sure you
I did
Yep.
not.
get your 1d6 first.
Ooh, 5.
What
Okay.
was I up
So you
before?
get an extra 5.
Okay, 43.
I'll take a short rest.
18. Good lord.
Always do the rogue dice first. Nice.
All right, and Botch will take the extra 5.
Perks of not getting hit in combat. All right.
Wow, you're
Someone
so
has to,
cool,
right?
Jaeger.
Battle tactics.
Clever. All right, so you guys get an extra 5 hit points from Maximil as she tells some inspiring stories with her Song of Rest, talking about the day's activities, enchanting both of these women who are Soren. You recognize from being in this district. They're definitely from the Ridge. You've spotted them on the street on occasion. They're from this area. They're nobody of note. Just they live and work here, and this place has been the more the northern portion of the Ridge has been ravaged.
As
I'd
the
just like to
Song
point
of
out-
Rest,
Go ahead.
Max is going to give a dramatic retelling of the battle with Galaxolin.
Dope.
The two of them roll an emphasis check. I want to see how well this like works. So 2d20, whichever's the furthest
And-
from 10.
I would like to point out that by dramatic, I also Max doesn't want to make it scary. She wants to make it seem epic.
Heroic.
So
Okay.
not like,
We're gonna see how you did with the emphasis roll.
oh, I rolled an 11 and a 13.
Okay, that's good enough. No, that just means it was positive in the end. So yeah, you describe it as heroic, and you expound upon the great deeds of those that you saved, barely making their escape, and then how you all came in as the Midnight Parliament and, you know, narrowly escaped with a great victory that was won for the ages. And both of these women are talking about it as they pack up breakfast and leave back to the street. And now you can be confident, Max, in knowing that your story is spreading through the city. That these two are chatting about it as they leave the building.
Cool.
Oh.
All right, Max, what about that beach?
Don't tempt me. Oh,
Did anybody roll? I know you guys were looking at casting identify on this as you guys were moving through.
Yeah, if we're doing like staying there to have food and then we're heading back out into the streets, I would do identify on the body of Dagon because it's an object now. Technically, I'm assuming.
Oh.
Mm.
Eh,
It's not my fault. Them's the
That's
rules.
rough.
It's not my fault.
Okay.
You've
the dagger
absolutely
and that
murdered
staff
Sarah.
that he had.
Okay. So the staff that he had is an exotic weapon. It's one of the Aeternage fighting staffs. So it requires special training to use appropriately, but it is enchanted to be able to breathe fire out of it in a cone attack twice per day. And whilst the cone attack has charges, it is engulfed in flames and deals an additional D8 of fire damage, I believe.
Jesus,
I have to go double
that's
check.
it, really?
It was either D8 or a D10. I gotta go double
That
check.
fire damage fucked my day up.
You're telling me.
Before we short rested, Soren, I also gave you bolstering magic, so you have a
For
second level
That's right.
spell recovered.
is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so Max,
Dude. Oh, 1 second, I got a couple more things
You
we
and me.
identified here. Give me a second.
we're gonna enjoy ourselves today.
So there
You need
was
some R and
the-
R, my lady.
there was
yeah.
the staff did oh no, I apologize. It did 3d8 plus 9 bludgeoning damage for him, so 3d8 bludgeoning damage and 4d6 fire damage while it was active. but it's exotic and requires specialized training to be able to utilize. Then you have
That'd probably just take an afternoon, right?
yeah, sure. Okay. Galaxlin himself is now a Yurig chassis. It is a unpowered and deactivated Yurig. But it's you're not sure the details of what you're getting off of the identify, and like looking over the text of what's on this creature. You understood before that some of these Yurig chassis came from different time periods, and Diggin tried to explain it as best they could. And then also the people you met before, the Farrellin and some of the deep gnomes that understood these in like much more detail, knew that Diggin was a very early special model. But at this point, he's a Yurig that's deactivated. And a deactivated Yurig without a soul in this case is just a empty shell. There's no power to this unit. It can't do any of its functions. It's completely deactivated.
Is there a mechanism inside that is similar to a heart?
There is not.
Okay.
None that is powered currently.
Right.
You know that based on your identify, if this was a whole unit with its head attached, there's the capability for a soul to transcend into this creature and become a wholly new Yurig. And it would be and that's just there's a base understanding of like the identify. What it's getting you is that it would become basically a receptacle or a soul.
It wouldn't necessarily be him again.
It would not be Galaxlin. No, Galaxlin was what this was before was a specific combination of a soul in this chassis. A new soul entering into this body would create an entirely new creature. Diggin is nowhere to be found. And you're on your identify. Whatever Diggin was is completely destroyed.
Okay.
Maddie, question?
Does that mean it would become a receptacle in the sense that Isidora's body was a receptacle for her to enter upon
For your
her death?
specific soul, you came back and became touched. You've also heard rumors of fell-touched creatures that are chassis or bodies that have been recently deceased that an evil soul inhabits. And that becomes
Something
a
else.
fell-touched creature.
Something else took over.
Yep.
So it's a good thing we separated the head, or
Yeah,
it
right
could
now it's
potentially
right now it's a
happen-
non-functional
Yeah.
body. Yep, nothing can
Okay,
happen
okay.
with this.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Galaxlin-
That's why.
Galaxlin could be considered like a fell-touched creature for this Yurig. Yurig are the combination of a soul and a machine, whereas a touched is a soul that's been brought back to a body through non-resurrection means. Like your soul
Specifically
came
its own
back
body.
to. Yep, specifically to its own body. And
Not
a fell,
today.
fell-touched would be an evil creature coming into, like an evil soul coming into a
Seeing the
deceased body.
opportunity of an
Yes.
unoccupied body. Yeah,
Right.
okay.
And lastly, I know that some of you may have been waiting for this. You identify the blade as the Edge of Nightmares. Whatever this blade's intended purpose, it has been corrupted and infected with the presence of a Volketic, a powerful creature born of pure nightmare. This creature has cursed trapped souls to live in eternal torment in pocket realms of nightmare crafted into links in the weapon's chains. The creature attempts to infect the wielder with nightmare and pain, and if successful, the Volketic drains the attuned soul into a nightmare link and takes over the body of the creature, allowing the Volketic to unleash the nightmare onto the material plane. Only through continued exposure and successful resistance to the assault of this creature can the links be undone, and what the blade will become is truly unknown. And I'm going to share the consumed by nightmares portion of this blade into
Jesus Christ.
our private chat here so you guys can see that truly there are pieces of this weapon that even Identify cannot tell because it is cursed by nightmares.
Oh, jeez.
However, this weapon is magical in nature and has some features. It is magical and grants +1 to hit and +1 to damage.
Okay.
It has Veil Slice. Rather than stab as a melee attack with this weapon, you may slash towards the target, making a ranged spell attack against a creature you can see within 30 feet. And on a successful hit, you deal a d4 +1 plus your spell casting mod in psychic damage to the creature. The weapon has 3 charges of sleep, and as an action, you may extend a charge to cast sleep from the weapon. You may extend additional charges to cast it at 2nd or 3rd level, consuming 1 or 2 additional charges respectively, and it regains all 3 charges at midnight. As the last feature of Prey on Nightmares, when attacking with this weapon using Veil Slice, you may roll an additional damage dice for each creature within 60 feet of you that is affected by the sleep spell.
Shit.
However, this is cursed. You can tell that through your Identify. When you utilize this weapon in combat, the Volcatic awaits in the shadows to attack you when you recover. At the end of combat, you must succeed against a Wisdom saving throw with a sliding DC based on the damage and the features you utilize from the weapon. If you succeed, you take no damage, but if you fail and are slain by the Volcatic, your body becomes the new vessel for the Volcatic, and your soul is cast into a nightmare link on the weapon's chain.
So if you fail, you die and it kills you and you
if
become a
you
new chain?
fail and you take enough damage from it, so you'll take a damage from the Volcatic at the end of combat, and if you don't have enough hit points and the Volcatic slays you, it consumes your soul into a soul link and you become the new vessel for the Volcatic.
Okay.
But this is also, you don't know how, but there is an intrinsic connection for this weapon through Botrin to Caritas. Between the nightmares and dreams, this weapon has a distinct connection to whatever the denizen and god of dreams is, that Botrin refers to as Caritas.
Spelling check on Caritas for me?
Let me check my DMs with Botrin. Maximil, go ahead.
Sure, I spelled it wrong.
Does this volcatic sound familiar to the thing that I saw hovering behind Jaeger?
Make an insight check.
Oh god.
That's terrifying.
Don't ask questions like that. Wait.
It does now.
Damn it.
You know how he works. It's not real until you ask.
Why do you ask him these things? Shut up.
Sorcery point. I'm doing it again. Roll high. Are you fudging with me? I rolled the same exact number.
Beautiful.
Looks like God just doesn't want me to know.
Yeah, but which
so Ben.
Oh, don't call me that. Karates. Carates.
Kerates.
Kara. Carates.
Fuck. So close.
What does a 6 glean me?
You've never heard of a volcatic before. You have no clue what it means.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
You really don't.
Hey, head empty. I was impaled twice today, so.
Sounds terrifying
Empty,
AF.
Full of lightning.
Sounds really scary. Like you would not want to meet a volcatic out in the open.
That sounds really scary. I would not want to meet a volcatic out in the open.
But you
Yeah,
do
this is
feel like this is definitely,
cursed.
you definitely feel like this is something that Botrin would open up with a line akin to, only the dreams can cleanse the nightmare. The light can cut through the darkness. And he would hold out his hand for this weapon.
Shh.
I trust him.
Sure.
Hey, I am always for touching strange objects. Good luck.
Just please be
Let us
careful.
know if we need to beat anything up, and we will.
Okay.
Don't make me shoot you.
Extend the dagger.
At this
If
point,
you feel yourself slipping, you need to tell us because we would rather have you confront the problem with us than have us confront the problem that becomes you.
yes.
We've
that makes
already
sense.
had to do that.
Yeah, well, we don't need
Today.
to twist the knife, but yes.
No
Oh,
problems.
you meant digging.
No problems here. As Botrin like hunches over this dagger, and Spackle, now back after the short rest, is just like and like touching it, and the both of them are just obsessed over this thing.
I thought you were dead forever.
She's always been
Max
dead
tries to like pick Spackle up and gives her a fake hug.
Um,
And
I
gives
mean,
her
I knew she was dead, but I didn't know she was dead. Like, I thought she was dead, like dead.
Don't.
You know?
She is dead.
The volcanic is right there.
What?
and she's like pointing at the knife, like, oh.
Is this another one of your little japers?
Yeah,
or
is that what you were saying
really-
earlier?
She's just obsessed with the knife, like Botrin is. The two of them are poring over this thing in great detail, like holding it reverently and like inspecting it deeply.
Can I? Oh, this is such an insane
And as
question.
you've
Can I
all
get-
like spent time looking at this while you think of your question too, each of you briefly believes for a moment, you swear you saw a face or two in the links of those chains.
Beautiful. Can I insight check the ghost child and see if it has any semblance of recognition on what this weird little dagger thing is? Like, does it know what it is? Does it recognize it? Okay.
Here's my d20s over here.
The ghost child, huh?
Don't fuck me! Come on. Mwah. Shit. I was hoping. It was close. What's my insight bonus? It's been so long. 24.
Nope. Coming cheap.
God damn it.
She just seems very, very interested.
Can I silvery barbs the ghost child's deception?
Sure.
I'm kidding.
If you want to. I mean, you can. You can silvery barbs the check if you want.
No.
Wouldn't help you because it was a fake DM roll because there was no deception.
Yeah.
It's all a lie.
Dang! Dice are lies. They're worthless. I just buy them to make myself feel happy.
So, what's next?
I think some of you were heading out to start doing work.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So if you are assisting the city, you can give me a persuasion, an athletics, an acrobatics, a medicine check, or you can just expend spell slots to help people.
I do both acrobatics and spell slots.
Absolutely.
Persuasion and spell slots?
Absolutely. However much you want to help the people of Busat.
28 athletics.
Big help.
Full expenditure, everything possible, sending included. Oh wait, no, that's specifically to the one to my wife. Never mind. But I will-
I rolled a 6, so that's a 25 persuasion.
God damn, woman.
Getting it. Getting it while the getting's good. Okay,
And
so
a few spell slots that I'll mark down.
25 persuasion, some spell slots. We had an acrobatics of 22, athletics of 28. Isadora, you out helping?
Yeah, why not?
Athletics, probably.
Intimidation and persuasion.
Nobody needs to be intimidated. Everybody's out here to help.
There isn't-
Actually,
there isn't anybody
hold
being
on.
slinky in the corners.
Hold on. Let's see if you're
There's
lucky.
always that one guy on the Titanic who got on the boat with the women and children, you know?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
always people like that.
Yeah. Give me an intimidation check and a persuasion check. Sure.
Thieves
So
love a
Isadora.
siege, don't they?
Nope.
Oh,
It's a 7.
son of a bitch.
So thankfully the Sons of Soren are there while Isadora is like, hey, you guys, and like trying to figure out who's the bad guys. And the Sons of Soren, like, she points the gun at the Sons of Soren first. And they're like, whoa. They're the ones looting. And then you're like, oh, those ones. And then they're already have dropped the stuff and run at this point, and the boys help out. But go ahead and give me your persuasion as well. For 16, you have a chat with the boys afterwards, get them to eat some food. And encourage them to keep up the good work policing their city streets while people are trying to take advantage. Between the
I'm
athletics,
sorry, guys. I'm on edge right now. Like I
As a
just got
shooter.
back from the fight of my life. I'm ashamed of my actions. That was not how I wanted that to play out. I'm one of the good guys.
something de-escalation and gun violence as Maddie pulls out a gun to intimidate people.
And then athletic 16.
All right. Athletic 16, Doran's 28, and the acrobatics of Soren for 22, and the spell slots
Can't roll
between
anything.
Maximiel and Soren. You all work for the day. It is a hard additional 10 hours plus of labor as you guys are patching people up, burdening yourselves with the sorrows of others as they realize that their loved ones have died underneath the rubble, have not quite made it. The acrobatics of Soren getting up into the shoddy, splintered rafters, trying to help get pulleys into place to get some of the boulders and the weight off of these buildings. Between the three of you and a lot of the others around, it's a citywide effort. You all put in great effort to the cleanup, but for the most part, there's more happy stories than sad ones because of your assistance.
Oh yeah, clarification. Every spell slot is going towards healing word if I see
Perfect.
someone that needs healing.
Unfortunately, a handful of people have died under the rubble. Didn't quite make it. We're in the wrong place at the wrong time and just too far gone to be saved. But you stand up besides those that are injured and cast healing word and do what you can to bring them out from this brink of despair and remind them that their loved ones would want them to continue on, even though this unavoidable and random act of treachery and tragedy has befallen their families, that the city of Busat stands behind them. Their homes will be rebuilt and their loved ones would want them to continue on and press forward into the great unknown and fight to live, because that's what we're all here to do. And you make your way back to Soren's Arcanery after a day covered in dirt and soot and dried blood, most of which not your own, ready to pass out from exhaustion, prestidigitating with the last of your available energy to get yourselves and the others clean so they don't smell so damn bad. Jaeger, they come in and no one's been to bother you all day.
I have 10 hours.
Yes, you do. You have 10 hours of time, Jaeger.
Hold on a second, because it looks a little different in here.
It looks a little different.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna full throw to Jaeger here. What does the inside of this place look like now that you've had 10 hours?
Okay, so before even starting, like spreading the literature across the floor and diving into all of that, he needs to do a full perimeter check and ensure every little bit is accounted for. There's no like broken panels or anything that people are sneaking in and out of. And then he lays some booby traps, which is just like sound booby traps, which is like the front door gets a string and something from his adventure pack, where it's just part of string and some noise rattles, so he can see if anybody opens it, but then goes to like the main table and puts on a full perimeter around him in like a 6-foot square of just the same twine to make sure that if anything is actually with him, it will hit the string and it'll make noise, and he'll just awkwardly move around it when he has to get up and move around. But it's there for noise while I'm watching everything, and then letting Botran do whatever Botran's going to do. But then it just gets a little messy because I will just start throwing things that are of no value, and it's just I'll take out all of my notes from my backpack and spread them out on the table, and I'm making relation points as much as possible. And then I would say, let me see how many of these I have left. I have 3 charges. Can this go for an hour? I would say every like 2.5, 3 hours, he'll cast Detect Invisibility just to freeze and see again. But all while he smokes and does some things, realizing he chain smoked too much last time. I got in trouble. He'll crack a window, and he'll take a break. He'll walk away from the table.
The
And
cracked
smoke.
window,
Isadora
but an
brought you.
ashtray like this big, still just
Oh,
like
yeah.
stuffed full of cigarette
Nice
butts.
little bucket.
Good
And at
stuff.
some point, Isadora brought you a little charcuterie board of bread and cheese and fruit
Sweet.
with like 2 kegs of alcohol. It was like, do your thing.
Awesome. That's even better.
Yeah, so I'm gonna GM retro you a little bit on that. You may have brought him a loaf of bread initially, and then you went to open the door. The alarm went off, and then you got the Jaeger gun barrel in your face, and you went, "Yo, I'll be right back." And then you came back with the charcuterie board and the extra booze and stuff. But it was like that this loaf of bread is not going to cut it, and you had to take a few minutes back and get yourself some more stuff.
I would say that first time you see a little bit of crazy come through. Not a lot. It's like he's tossed a little bit, but he's had a couple hours into organizing notes first.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
this loaf of bread is not going to do it.
the itch is getting there. And then if I have 10 full hours, man, it's full blown chaos again. I have to link things up, and depending on what I find in this book and how it goes, I'll alter the path.
Oh,
So
Soren, I
you-
didn't think that your arcanery got hit. But, I mean, look at all of this rubble.
Is it
Damn.
red yarn everywhere again?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Pages
That one
torn out of
picture.
books, red yarn everywhere, and
It's
by
chaos.
the end of it, as you're getting in there, Jaeger, at the end of that, like about 9.5 hours, you would have been visited by Shoutha.
Just
with
head in the door then if she's knocking.
she would have knocked and like looked for you, but she would have had an individual that you have not met, that she introduces as Ataleric's Dora Sailor, and Ataleric's being a position. I brought with me Malara Dora Sailor, Ataleric's Dora Sailor. She's a master of the Astakira, and there are some that stood against the dissenters. And
Can we take a minute to acknowledge the fan art that was just posted at half the speed of light?
Oh my god, wait, what did I mean? No! Sam! God!
Drink the soup.
Hold the fucking
Sam.
phone.
That was so fucking fast.
That was so fast.
Alright, I gotta put this up on stream. Oh
That's
my
gotta go on
god.
stream. That's amazing.
That's so good.
So if you're not in our Discord, you are missing the fuck out.
Oh my god.
Hold on.
Damn.
I'm adding a
My
browser capture to
gosh.
this.
I don't
This
mean
is-
to interrupt the most important person in the city at the moment, but like also
That's amazing. I'm like actively trying to put this up on stream because
Oh my
holy
God.
shit. We're just doing that monitor to capture this. We need to go to not that one. That one. There it is. Holy shit. Sam coming in with the Isadora artwork in a flash.
Drink the soup.
Yeah.
I'm so dead. I am slain. Oh my god.
Drink this.
Bravo.
Bravo, Sam.
That's
Amazing.
amazing.
Round of applause for Sam. You love it. Holy shit. Wow.
That poor old lady.
That middle-aged lady who is
Isadora's
having
like twice her age, okay?
having
Poor
a
lady.
goddamn awakening.
yeah, she gets to live her truth now. Poor old lady.
This is not poor old lady. That lady's gonna wake up to her real best life right now. Oh my god. Drink the soup.
That's so great.
So you are introduced briefly to Ataleric's Dora Sailor, a older woman that goes by Malara, who insists that you call her Malara, and for the next 45 minutes is poring over your notes with you.
Whoa.
No, talking to you, she brings some interesting points talking about some of the phenomancy pieces that she initially identifies, that she says a specific wizard by the name of Jitania was on, and that she thought that there was some connection between Jitania's work and the moons and the stars. And she starts asking you questions, but not digging into your work, and is asking you questions that are not giving you answers, but are providing insights. And you start to realize that her presence here, just the questions she's asking, are the right ones to make you think in a direction that's enticing to Jaeger. To a point where I would say, does Jaeger accept these questions and start like pondering these possibilities? She's not looking for answers. She's putting out theorems and suggestions and asking you your insights. Does this entice Jaeger to maybe entertain these discussions?
First, can I insight check intentions?
Absolutely.
See if there's any malice afoot. And it's a 16.
Well, the 16, not only would you tell that first she's not trying to hide anything, but she is genuinely interested in your work. She even mentions it as lost knowledge at some points. The things you found may be contributing to lost knowledge. And knowledge, not only of the fabric of life itself, but of the cosmos and what exists beyond the world.
Okay. My guard is not even the slightest down, but it's a notch down.
A notch down, and enough to discuss
Sure.
some things. So then I would say, for the next 30 to 45 minutes, your last hour before everybody shows up, she asks some good pointing questions, entices some good discussion, and gets Jaeger thinking about some things in manners that he had not thought before. And specifically when she comes in, or when the group comes in, even through her exhaustion, Maximil hears an interesting question as they walk in the door. But why would they refer to the moons in this text as the anchors? And that's where we're going to take a break.
I have no idea what's going on, but I'm just here for the reactions. Something just happened.
It's all good stuff.
It is time for more drinks and more coming up. Everybody, thanks Sam for getting us all even more sweaty and thirsty in Discord. Good Lord.
I wasn't trying to make Isadora a bimbo, but she is. She's definitely a bimbo.
That's not how I read that at all.
Oh, I read that very much as mommy. I'm sorry, mommy. I'm sorry. But good
Drink
Lord.
our soup.
Drink the soup.
We need a where's Mal? We need a new drink the soup.
We need to drink the soup. Yeah.
All right. We'll be back from break in just a few minutes, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everybody. We back. Sorry, I had a bunch of like important family stuff to deal with really quick there. I can't announce it on stream because it's not my business, but you should join the Cyorion Discords for cool photos soon of other players, wink wink nudge nudge, who usually watch our Monday stream but are not here for unrelated baby reasons, quote unquote. I don't know.
Subtle.
I'm super subtle right now. I'm so subtle. I'm just super excited. I'm sorry. I just want to be done. So I love this game, but at the same time, it's like I want to go talk to him and like all those things. So totally join the Discord sometime and talk about all the cool new things that are happening. However, we ended there after a day of fucking labor from you guys. Side note for the rest of you guys, you can tell me in Discord. I'm gonna pull you back to the nav scene so you guys can see kind of where we're talking about. Currently in the Ridge West at Soren's Arcanery, with Jaeger working hard trying to figure out some things, and Atalarix Dora Salor, Atalarix being a constellation in Cyorion sky and the rank of master for the Aestokiran, the astronomers, astrologists, acolytes of the heavens, these wizards that study the stars. The rank of master being here in your house. First of all, super cool seeing her here, Soren, as you walk in the door. Somebody who you know as a master rank people, there's probably less than 2 handfuls of them, probably like 6 to 8 of them that oversee various parts, and they oversee like entire schools within the Kizarvexis Luminary Academy. And then above them, senior masters and elders. There is a single elder that runs the entire Aestokiran and serves as like a council member, and then the senior masters serve on this council, and there's only 5 of them between senior masters and elders. So this is
in my top 3 of people to meet in the
an incredibly high-ranking person is sitting here with Jaeger, looking at things on the wall, going and talking as you all exhausted walk in. So I'm gonna pitch it to Jaeger, who's
Well, I
very
was gonna say
excited
before we jump into like what she discloses,
Sure.
Jaeger first and foremost doesn't care who she is. No idea.
Sure,
Totally oblivious. Just
absolutely.
she piqued an interest, and now she's just crazy lady with Jaeger. But did Jaeger learn anything about what they were doing underneath the city? Was that anywhere in the books?
Oh no, we lost Sarah.
Oh no.
Max, come back.
Pling.
Absolutely.
Zach
But right
and-
now
Zach and Sarah.
Sarah's being played by Zach until Sarah's webcam comes back.
Lightning.
Oh, hey, look, it was perfect max meal. It was a perfect max meal. You just say lightning and it happens.
Yeah.
So first point, learn anything about what was going on beneath the city.
Sure.
That'll be number 1. Number two I'll get to after you answer.
I'm gonna need you to make me an emphasis roll. Let's see how lucky Jaeger is, because you're either gonna learn a lot or you're gonna learn a little.
1d20, 2d20. It's an 18 and an 8.
So you learn that during Jutania Tarage's time as a wizard serving Busat, they were primarily looking for an answer to the Blood Orc curse. Now, this is something that happened some 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. The Blood Orcs rampaged across Lamindor. They were cursed by a god to have this insatiable fighting spirit, and it was clusters of orcs from different clans all brought together, and they ravaged caravans and destroyed small cities across Lamindor towards Gwayer, and it led to a war leading to 3 or 4 years of violence across the southern continent. And the effort at that time, between, like I said, 2,000 and 3,000 years ago, was to find a way to stop them non-violently, because this curse was bestowed upon them by a god, is the general consensus of what you find in this information here. And there was a strong feeling at that time that this was anchored to Vikitter, which was the red moon above Cyorion. I'm missing the right data. Pull it up. However, during that time, they had spent considerable resources and paid a lot of people to be willing test subjects, essentially. They were looking for folks that were willing to be experimented upon by this new source of magic called phenomancy, where they were literally deconstructing the base pieces of what made you human and turning you into something different. And they thought initially that some of the resilient genes and pieces of what made up a person from other species or other ancestries could be brought into what made an orc and try to suppress some of those different urges. And through her studies and experiments, you find definitive proof in those readings that they were directly responsible for the creation of half-orcs. Half-orcs were not a product of human and orc relations. They were initially created by experimentation with phenomancy. Further, in the latter parts in the journal, you find detailed information about a sickness in northern Katala that's particularly interesting. And you spent some time working on this and this little bit of information that led you to believe that somebody had picked up the studies, and as Jatania had kept this lab open for about 200 years after this blood orc instance. This is an elf who's thousands of years old and died, I think I said like 60 years ago, who very recently passed away. She had been studying this for a long time, and she had even gone back down to the lab at one point a while back, within the last few hundred years, and wrote additional entries that she thought somebody had picked up the trail and taken some of that information from her studies and from the studies of phenomancy and created a successful antigen against a disease rampant in northern Katala that was hurting humanoids up there, but it resulted in an offspring of a very, very resilient group of people that they called the Drobates, which is a cross between a human and a poison dart frog of the Katala jungle. And these frog people were a result of it. They've called them Gripilli and Drobates, and they hadn't settled on a name. This seemed to be a small group. And there's a note there about the Society of Esteemed Phenomancers, a rogue group of wizards that seemed to be performing experiments somewhere in the Katala Keys.
Son of a bitch.
Could you repeat the name of that group?
The Society of Esteemed Phenomancers.
Thank you.
Before I write any of this down, does Jaeger share any of this with us?
That's a bit of a side dig at
No.
Josh for your
Not yet.
cool and the Sunday game.
Yeah, it's not it won't be immediate.
Okay.
We'll see. I'll have to see where it goes, but no, not as you guys are like jumping into the door.
Okay. I will write it down when you share it.
Write it down anyways, because he'll likely share it, but I don't know how much I'm going to share, but yes.
All right.
I'm trying to find specific. Sorry.
Sarah's got ye old crunchy bones.
So there is some tie-in, and I'm sorry I had to like go on.
You're good.
Like I had to go on something about the Drobates for a minute because I needed a specific god's name because it's very important. There is something that had to do with the Blood Orc curse that was tied to Vikitter, which is the red moon above Cyorion. That's something that Jaeger knows, that everybody knows. That moon's called Vikitter. And then there is a tie between Vikitter and Kravok, which is a god of destruction that seemingly has ties to Vikitter inside Jatania's text, is the other parallel that you draw. And I will put that name into the game chat for you guys to write down.
Oh, definitely not on the bar with your spelling. Of course.
Of course. I'm not going to spell anything normally. Are you fucking kidding me? Kravok's a weird one.
It's like Klingon. Kravok.
Huh? Okay.
Not going to confirm that god was inspired by Klingon spelling because it's a god of war and destruction, the god of ruin.
And this god is a god for Drobates?
No, sorry. So the Drobate thing was like thousands of years later. This is basically if Yakul like flipped to the last pages of the book and was like, what's interesting here? Jatania had jumped down like 100 years ago and written down something interesting about the Society of Asim Phenomancers and the Drobates that came out of northern Kutala. But back in the Blood Orc curse, dealing specifically with the anchors and the reference of Vikitter and Iovis, the two moons of Cyorion being anchors, there is a tie during the Blood Orc curse to Kravok, the god of ruin, and specifically to Vikitter, the red moon.
Okay.
So those are the things you glean, and that Phenomancy draws its power and its capability through the fact that all life on Cyorion, as Jatania explains it, is connected through what they call the Great Cycle. And that everything is intrinsically connected through this Great Cycle, and that beings are reborn through the engine and are recycled into Cyorion to live perpetually in this world.
Okay. So I take it that it's just, well, we kind of knew it was Jatania's lab that she kept open, but there was no indication of like when it was taken over. Like, I'm assuming it's after death because there was no mention of like break-ins or any type of notes of like strange activity happening.
The lab was sealed. As you guys came to Senna opened the lab. You guys got that information as Senna opened the lab for the first time in a couple hundred years.
Okay. Then my second point that I was looking for was more around the ley lines and travel of some sort, teleportation, any type of gates or weird phenomenon with time, like messing with time, anything that happens to do with like the correlation between ley lines, because I've been hearing that a lot as Jaeger, and phenomancy. Did I find anything about that?
Yeah, go ahead and make a insight check.
You got it. Insight 6.
You don't find anything particularly. The ley lines, there seems to be something tying back to a greater being that controls the ley lines. That they're not naturally occurring within Cyorion. That something anchors them here. And that's another It's another appearance of the word anchor that feels uneasy to you. However, it's Malara that leads you on the path of those questions, that as she's asking them leads to a slight bit of discussion, which gives you a bit of insight that maybe the Aester Kieran know a little bit more about time and how it affects the world, as well as the ley lines and travel. You read things in there about Jitania talking to creatures from the Feywild and from the plane of Earth that catches you as strange knowledge. Like, how could creatures travel between the planes? That's not the planes of, like, reading about other planes of existence is alien to you. Like, that doesn't exist. There is Cyorion, there's the world that you live on. There's not other places that you can travel to. This is it. This is the world. And she talks about speaking to other beings outside that seems weird to you and very alien. And Malara talks about and asks questions pointed to how we could talk to things and travel to these places. Like, what are the mechanisms to do that? And like points the questions in that direction, which seems odd, but lets you know that maybe she knows a little bit more. And that's just from your natural insight, is that she may be leading you to put some points together that she's either not quite sure on or knows a little more than she leads on.
Okay. And then I have one final point. Well, two. I'll put them together. One being any mention of Eterna.
Uh-huh.
And then one mention of anything being touched. If there's any type of
I'm gonna make
spark notes where I can hand it off, but specifically those two names, if they're
the touched, I will say no. Flat out, there's nothing about the touched in these Phenomancy books. However,
perfect.
Eterna is an interesting question, and I'm gonna roll a GM emphasis, and I'm not gonna tell you how it goes, but I'm gonna give you the information. Okay. There is mention of a place that was reached through scrying at what she called the ley line pool. And she draws this picture of a light pool that emanates energy. This glow comes off of it, and she's adorned it with constraints and restriction and decoration so she can control the terminus of this pool. But what's within it, she has no control over. And the paragraphs you find describe how she's really just trying to channel the energy. And she describes contact with a strange group that she writes this name down, Eert Ejna, that means nothing to you, but is adjacent to Eterna enough, and your exposure to Maximiel and her Bradish speaking, that
classes comprehend language.
Yeah, Eert Ejna is an old Bradish term for Eterna. It's the Bradish version of the word Eterna. Jaeger doesn't have direct exposure to this, but comprehending languages, as she wrote that strange phrase down, it translates to Eterna. And she talks about these beings of a far off place and these strange bluish purple skinned individuals that she was able to catch glimpses of in the shimmering of the pool. But she was never able to truly tune into to get a good picture of where they were or how to get to them.
Did she, in this like picture that you mentioned that was drawn, is it fairly accurate? Is it like a rough sketch? Could I try and ascertain like what the type of material was that she used to kind of control this pool of energy? Or is it
Really,
just like really super vague?
really vague and hard to tell. There seems to be some spell runes carved into stones around the perimeter of this pool, and then it looks almost like a scrying pool. And I would say, kind of at this point, as you've gotten to drill
Sure.
down in some questions, is when Malara poses the question, why do they call them the anchors here in this text? As Maximiel and the rest of the group walks in, and Soren, Ada Larix Dora Sailor is standing in the arcanery. Someone who you thought Sarai might get to meet at an esteemed function and be adjacent to for just a moment to catapult her career.
Wiping the dirt and the blood and the sweat off me. Just. Oh, God.
Oh, wait. Everyone meet Malara.
Pleasure
Then-
to meet you all.
Help him.
Hi.
Well, hello there.
Before you stands a high elven woman who's clearly holds herself with some poise. Her garments are these purplish red flowing robes with stars and constellations scattered across them, and she has long brown hair braided that kind of comes down into a braid in front. Her arms are clasped both in front of her into her sleeves, and she looks very studious as she looks to the lot of you and kind of glances at you in waves, but immediately turns back to the interesting work. And the rest of you see another classic Jaegerism splattered across the wall.
Oh, it's not just the wall. It's like papers have went from the table down to the floor, and they're in a haphazard, almost kind of chaos array. But there's, once you start looking at it, there's a meticulous type of chaos to it.
You
But it's the floorboards, it's the wall, it's yarn, it's connecting, it's all different types of stuff. There's a contraption that is like surrounding the table, just all sorts of weird. And he's like just rips down kind of the yarn and bells. Oh, sorry, I'll move this out of your way so you can read it better. But yeah.
You get a brief look, and then Shotha over in the corner. Oh, Max, good to see you again.
Hi.
Hi. They started talking and I dozed off. I'm sorry. Shotha is there with Malara. I was supposed to ring Malara to talk to you all about something, and she got distracted and I dozed off. I needed a bit of a rest, I guess. Anything interesting, Malara? She kind of looks back to the group of you for a brief second and looks back to the board. Yes, we've found quite a lot of interesting things. Wouldn't you say, Jaeger? I think we found some quite interesting connections. My master, Rubris Devona, would have quite a lot to ask about this. Soren, the name Rubris Devona is like dropping a presidential title. You are just immediately like, why would Rubris be involved in anything in my shop ever in his
This is
life?
really happening.
Ben,
I reach out and
dreaming?
slap Soren.
God.
Yes,
Did
he's
that
a,
hurt?
yes, he's
Yes.
Adora.
Then you're not dreaming.
Ow.
does she wink wink, hint hint, does she recognize Malara in any way, shape, or form? Hint hint, wink wink.
No, this is somebody.
Okay.
This is somebody who is so far up in the chain, they would never be involved with your previous arrangements. In
No,
Busan.
no. I'm talking about her early life.
Nope, not even that. She is so far
okay.
up in the hierarchy of Busan.
Well, I mean,
Nope,
oh, okay.
not even
okay,
that.
yeah,
Nope,
okay,
she is
okay.
so high up. Not joking when I say like probably the top like 20 or 30 people in Busan. Not even
Malara.
enough. Not even enough for you to worry about like being involved with. She would have been one of those people that's just like, she's so achieved in her life, she would never need your help in the slightest.
What I'm talking about is like her childhood.
Nope.
If you remember.
Nope, not at all.
Okay,
No.
cool. Just checking.
Mhm.
Yep, all good.
Malara,
Yes, yeah. hmm
anchors. I've seen it. We've both seen it.
Yes.
But do you know what's under Busat?
Well, we know a few of the wizards, including Jitania, who you spoke about, had some involvement at one point with the art of phenomancy, which is not something we get involved in, but there was a lab down there, as far as we are aware. It was sealed off, and
Still down there.
Have you been there?
I have.
Today.
I have not. You are the first souls to step foot in that place in some time, I'm afraid. Most of the information was lost, and I only found out about it yesterday. It was on a very need-to-know basis. Rubris informed me of it directly.
Have you heard of... I don't even know how to put it because it all seems like a fairy tale at this point, but Tanya's put some weird notes together.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of a place or a being called Eterna?
My master, Rubris, has spoke of a place like that before. I would have to say that we need to speak with him directly.
Oh gods.
When do you want to do that?
Wonderful.
Please not now.
I came here expecting to meet with you all and seeing if there was anything interesting. We've gleaned maybe a counter-offensive against this individual, but it seems that they're involved far deeper than I've previously thought. No, we don't need to meet with Rubris now. It's
Oh my god.
at this point, it's like 4 in the afternoon. You guys have been working all day. Rubris, if I know him as well as I do, which I hope, would prefer to meet with you all this evening after some rest and when the moons are out in full. As if you know of Rubris, as I'm sure you do, young man, as she nods to Soren, he's quite fond of the stars in the heavens and would want to be taking this underneath our stargazing dome.
Isadora puts a finger under Soren's chin and closes his gaping mouth.
So
You're
we're
chilling
going
there
to
a bit,
meet
bud.
with Rudris. Like in person.
You heard the lady, right?
To the this is a
Yes.
big moment for me. All right.
Antelocap Rubris Devona, yes, the senior master, one of the council of the Aztec. Have you
I go
not?
over and
have you
smack
not?
Soren.
I assume you've all been privy to what's been.
slapping me. God.
You almost. Why? I don't understand why you all need to slap that young man. It seems that he's not been read into what's been happening here in Busot.
Notice
I know
how I
what she
didn't
is.
slap you?
One of my favorite.
Malara's much older than you are.
Okay.
You would have known of Malara not only for the fact that she survived the war against Burrows, but that she was a frontline wizard who stood tall in defiance of Burrows in broad daylight. Like, Malara is kind of a warrior goddess to you.
Yep. Kind of.
Am I the only
but-
one who doesn't know this lady? No offense.
Soren's the
You
only
seem very-
one that knows
You
her.
seem very important.
None of us know her.
Okay.
I have a,
You
I
seem
have
like a
notes.
very polite society, which is nice. You know,
No,
you seem
I mean,
you know what
the-
you're talking about.
The Luminary Academy is quite a nice place if you're there to study or if you want to learn more. But
If I may, madam, the woman's a fucking legend. Can we just address
oh,
that? I mean,
please,
How?
no, young man. I don't think that I'm.
Tell me
No.
more, Soren.
No, I just go in and scoop a thing of wine and
another time.
give it to Malara. I guess here's to you.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thank you. We've all survived quite a tragedy, and you should probably fill your young elf friend here in on what's gone down today if he's not aware of the thing. You keep slapping him. I'm not sure if he knows
He-
what's happening.
I think he's just a little out of it. We just fought someone from their past, obviously, and I mean it's all been a long day, and
Oh,
they just came back from
Shatha,
working, and
is this the? And Shatha's like, oh, yeah, this is the group that Mateo said you'd be interested in. Right.
We are the Midnight Parliament.
Ah, yes, I have heard of you. So you must be Soren.
You've heard. Wow.
Have you heard of Sons of Soren?
I no, I'm
Sorry. He's kind of famous too.
Do you have many sons, Soren?
No, it's a bunch
It's
of
like
kids.
it's a
from the
charity group he
streets.
founded.
Yeah,
He
it's
founded
Oh.
a charity group.
like a boys' club. It's
A home for homeless children, basically.
During all this, really?
Kind of
He
before.
is very
Before.
impressive.
Oh, Soren, and she walks up, Soren, and grabs your hand. I must thank you for your efforts in the city, and it's a pleasure to have met someone who's on the front lines of the defense of Busat. Thank you.
I could say the same.
Yes, I was tasked with reaching out to you all. There was the quite unseemly matter of our captain of the guard turning coat, as it were, and finding himself now hanging from the bastion with a few other people of undesirable rapport.
Drops the smile entirely. Do you know of any that made it away?
We have knowledge of a couple who made it away. However, we don't think that they're a threat. They have ingratiated themselves to high society, found themselves in positions of power to undermine the defenses of the city, and we don't think they'll survive the desert long. And those that do survive the desert, we don't think they'll survive their failures long. However, the damage was done. Busat almost fell to that vile army that marched against us of death and decay.
I have to know if you're higher up in command here and
Yes,
been on speaking terms with a lot of people in charge here.
I'm trying to figure it out, but yes.
Was the association involved in this in any way?
Not. No, what I know of the
Is
association
anybody
is...
higher up still doing dealings?
No, what I know of the association is they've drawn back their dealings from Busat recently and have not participated in the assault against Busat itself. The
All right.
association has its own problems to deal with. They tend to interface with the
How-
kingdoms of Ashahoya. There's been some issue with supply lines coming out of Katia and Reshik and some of the other cities of Ashahoya that have been disrupted.
Really?
The
What sort of
association has never
disruptions outside
been
of Katia?
known.
What? I'm sorry. So many questions. From what I understand, please, the association has been known to have stepped up against some of the ne'er-do-wells that have been uncovered in some of the cities of Ashahoya. There are...
So
Sorry.
they're not
Sorry.
responsible. So they're not responsible for these missing.
Absolutely not, as far as I'm aware. The association's dealing with... There's been rumors of a force that works against us all here. A group called the Ebon Hand. I don't know if you've heard of them.
We have.
Excuse me?
Has she?
We have.
Oh,
Has does Isadora know about
no,
that?
as Isadora does not
Okay.
know about them, but everybody else's ears perk up immediately.
Max starts smelling very heavily of ozone.
There's been some group called the Ebon Hand that's been doing some underhanded dealings throughout Ashahoya and has apparently come awry of the association, as it were, and found themselves in the crosshairs of more than one group, which is good for the
Care
rest
to
of
add
us.
another?
But the association is responsible or is currently
Oh,
having
no.
troubles with.
No, the association has laid low some of the agents of the Ebon Hand, as far as I'm aware. There's been some magical artifacts trying to be moved out of Ashahoya to... Well, you said it
Yeah.
yourself, to Eterna, as far as I'm aware, Mr. Yeager.
Sure.
There's
Right.
been rumor that magical artifacts are making their way out of Ashahoya towards Eterna, wherever the access point to Eterna may be, and they ran afoul of the association, and the association laid low their agents, which were found to be changelings, of all things.
Yeah.
But there's good news. Ashahoya has been standing strong against them. They are trying to suss them out. It turns out that I heard that name once before, Max, and that somebody was pressed out of a position of power found to be a changeling herself. But no worries.
Really?
They say your parents have stepped in and made sure that they will be taking care of any false allegations going forward.
You're like, hold on, give me a second. She takes off her necklace and puts it against Melora.
And she like just stands back for a moment and takes a look.
It's fine. It's fine. Do you see?
It's quite a
the
nice
symbol?
necklace you have there. Yes.
Thank you.
She
Okay,
inspects
so-
it for a moment and nothing happens.
Okay, awesome. Do you recognize this?
No.
Awesome. Okay. I'll tell you about that later if you'd like. But my parents are also changelings. Like they're all changelings.
You are the Maximilian Archambault.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh. I do say, she bows deeply in the presence of royalty, no doubt. The trade princess of Katia, of all things.
Ooh. I know what.
Does she recognize the symbol? I rolled a natural 19 for a 20.
This
Insight.
Jaeger, no, she does.
No. When she said no
that's
to the recognizing the symbol.
the Stella Tenuum, she does not recognize the symbol, the Stella Tenuum. She has an inkling of like, there's something about the Stella Tenuum necklace that's vaguely astronomical. So she has a, neat astronomy piece. Not, holy shit, it's the Stella Tenuum. Like,
Got it.
two very, with a 19, you have a good insight to very different types of vibe from that.
Can I get a check real quick? She mentioned that the fake, the facsimile was routed from her position and is being tried as a bastard
Changeling.
man. Who did she think our Max was? If
She had
she's just
no
now having
idea.
this moment
Make it,
of,
she's,
you're the.
she's just very recently, like, there's a ton of shit going on, and this is a like, oh, holy shit, you're that Max, and like realized who she was. And like, had this been 3 months later, next year sometime, she may have been like negotiating a trade agreement with Maximil.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's kind of that
There's-
like, it's actually you.
So, both Cecilia and Ekamon, as well as Zephon, are all changelings. Zephon was recently slain.
I haven't heard anything of Zephon recently. I heard Maximilian was running Katia and that Cecilia and Ekabon took over in her stead, that she was found out to have been slain by a... She like looks over Diggins' body. By a Yorick.
Old friend of ours.
Oh, you all have been quite through a lot, have you not?
Is the association still rooted in the Ashahoya royalty?
Yes, the association still has dealings there.
And any word about its leadership?
Young man, last I heard, I can't remember his name. I tend not to deal with the association much on my own. They do other things, and they've most recently pulled out to Busat recently. I apologize.
Yeah.
But I hear they're more heavily involved in Ashahoya, and, yeah. Just, Maddie, you can make an insight check for me. While Maddie's making that. But I do hear that this facsimile Maximil has been, as you called her, has been routed by the new Queen's champion, a young lady by the name of Irene. She's been doing quite well in Katia, and she's supposed to be coming to Busat in a couple months' time. Couple months, remember, being like 112 days.
20 days, yeah.
Yep, it's a season per month.
Fucking eternity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's soon, isn't it? Oh man. Oh boy.
Isadora,
It's really not.
Kind of the opposite of soon, really.
she probably has heard a little more than she's letting on, but her body language gets very uncomfortable talking about the association plus Ashahoya. Like that combination is something she doesn't want to talk about, and it's a high stress topic, as in like there's a lot going on right now and she's not thinking about that, and it's just super, and she's like, nope, I gotta focus on this, and she's very like much trying to pivot away from it, and you almost see her body like turn in with a 21 insight check. She's like moving away from that topic.
And she's
Tell me,
calling
what was her
herself
name again?
the
What
Queen's
was-
champion? Irene's calling herself the Queen's champion?
Well, Irene
like
has
that-
been named the Queen's champion. She's
Oh.
she's serving she's serving Cecilia now, as Ekamon has taken like a backseat role to running Katya.
Oh, okay.
I see.
What was your question, Isadora?
Tell me, what do I call you again?
Atalerix Dorsailor, but you may call me Malara. You've all been
Malara.
quite helpful, and I know Entelocap Rubris would be quite happy to meet you all.
Now tell me,
All of you guys do
why-
know, by the way, Atalerix and Antilocap are constellations in Cyorion sky. The Aestakiran takes them as titles. You don't know about the titles and like what they mean, but hearing Atalerix and Antilocap, those are actual constellations in the sky.
now tell me, Malara, why were you so uncomfortable when I asked you that question?
Oh, I'm sorry, but have you not fucking looked outside in the last 12 hours? The city's been under siege.
No, that's
have-
obvious.
I have
but
a
your
single
behavior's
no,
displaying
ma'am,
discomfort.
madam, I have a single problem at the forefront of my mind. You can ask Mr. Soren that I have tens of thousands of people under my care now. The Kizavexis Luminary Academy led the assault against those interlopers within the city. I tell you that the association, criminal underworld as it is, led by a brigand of such brash and bold-faced authority to run out and gut his opposition, is unnerving, but the least of my concerns now. The safety of this city
Excuse me?
is the majority of my concern.
Am I the only one who didn't know that was happening? Hold on, wait, he's gutting?
I don't care if you understand whether or not what
Can we talk about this at a different time,
No.
please? I beg of you.
Possibly, but right now, as the city
Okay.
of Busad is my primary concern. The far-off
course.
dealings of a criminal underlord, scum at the bottom of my heel, is the last of my concern. Should he set foot on the shores of Busat again, then he will be my concern. But yes, he unnerves me because he is brash and bold and indecisive and violent. And I would sooner see him floating burned on the shores of Busat than spend one moment concerned about him when I have the citizens of my city dying in the streets.
I couldn't agree more.
I get her another glass of wine.
Thank you,
I like you.
Mr. Yeager. So if you don't mind, please, take your rest and meet with Rubris tomorrow. Or tonight, as it were. She like looks outside. In 6 hours from now, say in near midnight. You'll
Not a
be
moment later.
We'll be in the observatory. I will go grab some rest myself. I will
Just
not.
let me say one more thing. I
I almost think that
our
you've said
interests-
enough, Isadora, but please.
I promise our interests are aligned. I promise. Whatever it is that you're hiding,
Oh, I
we will
had
be more
nothing.
successful
I had
if
nothing.
you were to let me help.
I had nothing but contempt for a rat who's found himself far above his station. However,
I promise.
I don't think that I hide much. I think that the lines in front of us are vague and opaque, and we must find our way through this dense mist to answers.
Speaking as a rat who has squealed his way far above what his station should be. Sometimes there's more to people.
I believe so. But we have the citizens of Busat to worry about, and a master of the Astakiran to see this evening. So please, get your rest, and we will see you soon.
Of course. Thank you for coming.
She excuses herself, and Shatha now, who's been in the corner going like this the whole time, like, damn. Kind of grabs her stuff. We'll see you soon, please. And she leaves promptly. So, you have a few hours of rest. Time to grab some fresh air, discuss some leads, and potentially see what Rubris has to offer soon. But I'll turn it over to you all as you determine what you'd like to do this evening.
Getting back a spell
What?
slot.
Well,
Any hey Jaeger. Any
yes.
phenomantic news that could be useful?
I mean, there's a lot in these books.
Anything specifically about the magical transference using phenomancy?
Oddly specific, but I guess to your point,
The one thing we've asked you for, that's all we really want to know.
I mean, you cut right into the chase of like my whole shtick, but yeah, sure, okay, I'll just skip the charade.
I don't
so
want any fat on my steak. I want to get right to the meat of this situation.
I'll keep it lean. Don't worry. Yeah. So, half orcs in mix. Yeah, that whole thing was created by phenomancy, I guess. To resolve the blood orc curse. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Well, it gets deeper. That research that was done for the blood orcs and apparently making half orcs. I guess there was a new sickness that came out of Katala, and drobates were created. I don't think I've ever seen a drobate, but I think they're duplicating their work. And not to be that type of person, I guess, but I think the same people that made or potentially created this drobate society, well, oddly enough, it's called the Society of Esteemed Phenomancers. They may have been the ones that worked on you two. I don't know, though. I don't have...
Whom?
I don't know. Themselves. Their god, who knows? The god of creation, if there is one.
Interesting.
But there was something called the Great Cycle, and something about the beings are just being reborn through this cycle. I've never heard of it. But it got interesting when we started digging a little bit deeper, and the anchor points that Malaro was talking about were about the moons. And I don't know what makes it so special here in Busat that Jitania, this phenomancist, phenomenist, I don't know what you call them when they're singular. But whoever this Jitania was, there you go, the phenomenon. This single person created this lab down underneath Busat, and I don't know. I couldn't tie it together. I don't know why Busat. I only could think of maybe a ley line of some sort. But nothing about the touch. I'm sorry, Isadora. Couldn't find anything there. And then nothing very specific about the use of dragon blood.
Question for Ben.
Yes, sir.
Way back in ye olden days when we got our little prophecy from Bryndoinum,
Mm-hmm.
influences outside our control, outside the wheel, seek to destroy us all. Does that sound like this cycle?
Yeah. Something seeks to destroy.
You didn't
the
even
cycle.
ask him to roll.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's an immediate
Nice.
connection. Not even gonna make you roll for that.
buddy.
Yep. That's a great question. Yes, something outside of the wheel seeks to destroy the process and the cycle.
Just give a look to everybody. That prophecy from Bryndoinum, the wheel, cycle. And this is related to what? Something about the blood curse from the orcs or phenomancy? Or...
Well, it dates back to the blood curse and maybe a duplication of that. What I'm thinking right now is maybe there's another sickness or illness taking over, but I haven't seen any evidence of that here.
I mean, I would ask if it had anything to do with the touch, but like you said, there's no information on that, so I'm not too worried.
My biggest concern
Well,
is that
hold
I
on.
go ahead.
Let's think about this for a second. If souls are cycled back through this wheel, why wouldn't that be related to the touched?
Yeah.
It could be.
It's souls not getting cycled though. It's souls coming back. They're not getting recycled like you were saying.
Right.
They're getting caught and sent back instead of going through.
Like ricocheted almost. Or maybe chosen?
I don't like
by
that.
whom and for what?
I don't know, but
Yeah, that kind of worries
maybe
me.
maybe something within the cycle. Something within the wheel, whatever that is.
Did you
People
talk
of
about
purpose. I don't know.
Jaeger? Did you talk about the greater being that controls the ley lines and keeps them anchored?
No.
Okay.
Which one was that?
Just right above, right after Phenomancy, everything connected to the Great Cycle, folks get recycled, and right above, Jutania talks to different planes of existence like the Feywild. In my notes.
You took far better notes than I did. Oh god. I didn't get
always
that.
respect the note taker.
Classic ceremony.
I mean, sure.
Oh my god, are we almost on a new book, Sarah?
Pretty close.
Yes!
Oh,
Dang.
this is going to be a 2-book campaign.
But he didn't say a god, did you? Like, was that a named person? There was
No,
Vikiter,
just a greater
Krivak.
being
Okay.
that controls the lines and keeps them anchored. Because
Um,
Sarah's thinking if
ahead.
something's getting chosen, it could be that, or that the thing that is influencing the wheel outside, like outside the thing outside of the wheel influencing it to destroy it could be that greater being related to the ley lines.
Maybe.
If
Well,
Max
yeah,
knew
that's
about a
meta.
greater being.
Yeah. So, yes, I'll mention. I'll just make it easier. I'll mention the gods that were spoke about. So, Vikiter, the Red Moon, not necessarily gods, but the beings of note that had a name. So, the Red Moon, Vikiter, the Moon, Krevak, the god of destruction / ruin. You said both.
Yep, got it, basically, yeah. Works perfect.
Was the other moon mentioned?
Eovis, but did not have a god named to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. And then, yeah, I'll go right into that because that was later. But go into kind of like the ley line stuff because my biggest concern is how do we link all of these beings or gods or whatever they are to Eterna and back to the more important thing for me is the Ebon Hand. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know everyone's connection together. But they're not looking for artifacts. I mean, they are.
They're looking for magic. They're looking for something to sacrifice.
Yeah, but they're also taking people.
Yeah,
People can
some
do
people
magic
have
too.
magic put into them so that they can.
What about some
Sacrifice.
other people, Max?
Did your family have any sort of magical abilities, Jaeger?
They like feeding magic to this maw thing. I guess maybe all people are magic. I mean, if phenomancy relates to the, cycle of birth and unbirth, then maybe this maw is some sort of thing that relates. I don't know.
Soren, to answer your question, my family didn't have magic, nor did the people in my village have magic. The whole reason why I have magic was because I sought after it to prevent this from happening again. But Max,
What from happening?
I'm gonna shoot Max a very stern look. What about other family?
I don't know.
What about other children? What happens when they don't take people of magic?
Well, I think
I-
there's still precedent for what she's talking about. I mean, if there is to be magical within all people, within sacrifice, within blood magic, that is something that everyone possesses.
Yeah,
And
but
some people's is just stronger than others.
But
Some people
Ebon
just
Hand-
happen to have lightning. I don't know.
I get it. I understand it, but the Ebon Hand are taking innocent. They're taking non-magical people, and you heard it from Malara herself that they're finding artifacts.
Yes. Well, I know that the Stella Tenuum wanted magical artifacts. That's
I still
what
don't know why, though.
I mean, for the fight?
I don't think it's about that. Because if it was about specifically the fight, they would most likely be searching for specific kinds. We would have some semblance of an idea of what kind they're looking for. Weapons, spells, staves, things of that sort. Things
So
that
you're
can equip
suggesting they're
people with.
getting more powerful items, things that would be considered more magically potent than a human being or humanoid.
Maybe.
What
How
if
big
they
was
wanna-
that blood pool, Ben?
Inside the
Who saw it?
In the lab? Down below.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how large?
Did you see the one down in the laboratory, like actually below the surface?
I took a sample from the one everyone was standing in.
Oh, that was fairly large and seemed kind of diluted. Was not pure blood, and was the entrance to the laboratory beneath it. So it opened a descending staircase that was part of a ritual, really.
Well, we don't see. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about everyone here, and I guess we might need the blind prophet for this, but if you're trying to air quote sacrifice something, it's for a greater thing to happen. And
Right.
usually when I've seen this work, it requires blood to open up a passageway.
Right. Meaning they just need people. I don't think it matters whether they're innocent or capable of magic or anything like that.
Exactly.
What
So
about
why
the
do you need artifacts?
Yeah.
That's still the hanging question.
But
Maybe,
the
what's his name
Ebon
knows.
Hand, they want magic. They used me
Yes.
to get magic. They would just
I have a theory. Entertain me the slight breach in decorum. I think you were a beta test, as was Doran. I think they experimented on you because they have greater plans for that sort of arcane processes being enacted upon people. I don't know why.
Do you think they're experimenting on touched now too?
So,
maybe.
mean, if you
Yeah, I don't
think
see
about
why they
Blood
wouldn't.
flow? I mean, but I
If
guess
we
not
cut
really
you, do
that-
you bleed?
not quite to do with bleeding, but more to do with the fact that touched our souls that have returned to vessels that could not always be their original one. And if there are certain abilities that that vessel had in its previous life, and it becomes inhabited by something that also possessed a mixture of abilities, putting those
Oh.
things together and then experimenting on it in the way that you've all suggested they're doing to regular people, how different would things turn out?
So you're implying that they might be trying to create some sort of hybrid super person.
Yes.
There's basis for it. There's a sound theory.
That is
Yeah.
utterly horrifying.
Yeah.
I think that's the most I've ever talked in this entire time I've been with you guys.
You've only been with us for 2 days.
I agree that we definitely need Rinzeth here. Perhaps he can shed some light on some of these topics.
Out of character, where did we put him when we came up to the top surface? Because I don't remember any of that.
I think
I'd-
Serene has him.
Serene took
Oh,
him
yeah,
out.
Serene.
has him.
That's right. Okay,
Yep,
thank you. I
Serene
forgot
took him
about
out. Well, not took him out, but like took him and hit him.
Man, he's
Oh,
dead
you
now.
got him.
We're
Thanks,
alone.
guys. Bang.
that. She hasn't
I mean, what a
counted.
plot twist. I kind of want to go check on him now.
We can only withstand so many betrayals from that woman.
Oh my gosh. All right. So you guys feel like you've talked it out and are gonna get a little bit of rest before you go talk to the leader of the Astakiran?
Yeah.
Before night, I have something that I want to achieve.
Okay. What would you like to achieve?
We're not actually taking rest, right?
Mm-mm. You guys
Okay, then
are leaving the Arcanery around 11 o'clock. It's probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now. You're going to leave in 6 or 7 hours to prepare yourselves to make your way over to the Luminary Academy and then go up to the top of the Astakiran Guild Hall to the Great Observatory at the top of the tower. And
Okay, then
speak.
just before this happens, I'll pull Max aside. So it's just us two and no one else within earshot.
Then do I need a headset?
mean we have
Do I
to
need a
take-
headphones? Everybody else?
Nah,
No.
it's not.
Okay.
It's not that crazy.
Okay.
Oh.
Just a little plotting. I'll just pull Max. Hey, I'm not comfortable without seeing that place again. There's
Like
too many.
downstairs?
Yeah, there's too many unknowns, and no one's given the right answers.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah, I haven't seen the bodies in the amount of people and the amount of blood that could open up something massive. But it might be our shot to Eterna. You want to go
Okay.
explore it with me? If we get the
Sounds
shot?
fun. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's go talk to this crazy old guy. Apparently runs the city or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and then I need to sleep because I am so tired, Jaeger. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm so tired. I'm so sleepy, Jaeger. I can
Yeah.
feel my fingernails. I'm so tired.
Are they growing? You can feel them growing? That's kind of concerning. I could probably have
That's
Doran
sleep,
carry you.
that's-
Oh, it's a magic thing, I think.
Ooh. Well, if it
Like-
helps, I have this like unitchable itch from this, and I'll show her my cracked crystal.
Oh.
It's got damaged somehow, and I can't itch it.
Max itches it.
Doesn't help.
Oh.
I mean, I've tried that. You can see like it's kind of red from all the itching that he's done, but it's like it won't go away.
Can Max press to digitate on it to make his skin colder? To try to reduce some of the inflammation?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's organic material. You can reduce the temperature around it. Not enough to hurt it or give it frostbite, but you can cool it off. And yeah, Jaeger, the itch subsides.
Oh, how'd you do that?
A magical ice pack.
I'm gonna put my hands over her fingernails. I don't know how to do it, but I wish I could. Hopefully this just helps, and I'll just squeeze her hands.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Although, I wonder. Max is going to shocking grasp the area, not enough to cause damage, but because she wonders if it was the cold or the magic that made it feel better.
Oh.
Roll an emphasis check for me, Max. 2 d20s.
You got it.
Please be good.
How about a 9 and a 2?
No, no, no.
Should I roll damage?
Nope.
Jaeger's arm explodes.
Nope. Sarah, I need a d20 and a d100, please.
Oh, frick yeah. I love those. I'm sorry, Josh.
No, you're not. He did dig into you. You gotta get this back in.
Okay. How about a 9 and a 33?
Oh, that doesn't sound great.
That does not sound good.
Can I use my inspiration to re-roll the D10?
And d20?
Sorry, yeah, D20.
D20.
You can choose to do that? Sure.
Awesome. Since I'm probably not gonna.
This is probably fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
We don't need to persuade a dragon again.
15.
15 and a 33, you said?
Yep.
What are your hands doing when you shocking grasp Jaeger?
I just snap so they get the little electric shock, and then I touch.
You touch him. Jaeger, her finger hurts immensely when it touches you as that electricity radiates through the crystal. It bounces around inside and you feel it zapping up the veins where the liquid is getting into your arm. It just hurts. It aches like a sore muscle, like deep throbbing pain momentarily.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
Please.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I had the
That made
theory
it worse.
was wrong. Okay.
I don't. That was an interesting theory. I've never. I've only put magic into the crystals outside of previously when they were before in my body, and I've never wanted to try that out. So it's kind of a terrible.
I'm sorry.
But it's all right.
I don't have any healing left. I'm really sorry.
I don't think I need it. Let's refrain from testing to the ones on my body for now, especially the cracked one. I don't want to just blow up and die.
That would be bad.
Yeah. Also, I felt that kind of beyond my arm. That's weird.
Like where?
Specifically, up, kind of like where the tattoos. Like it hurts here, not so much here or here. It's like right here.
Does it smell like ozone around that area?
Nope.
Does it smell like anything weird? Or is it just the overwhelming scent of the chain smoking?
How close do you get in for a sniff?
Ugh.
Roll to sniff your friend.
I wouldn't.
Not
Fair warning. Sewer
Yeah.
sweat. No real cleaning.
Does
Lots
your
of
nose touch
blood.
his arm to sniff him or not?
fuck it. Yeah, it
Okay.
does.
As soon as her nose touches, just racking pain as her nose like briefly brushes your arm.
Oh,
Feels like
jeez.
someone dug a knife into your arm next to the crystal.
Oh, good.
Goes away as soon as you pull away from it.
I think it's you.
High five.
Other hand.
Ow! Jaeger hurts incredibly.
Oh, it is. Let's stop. I don't. Oh, okay. Keep
'Cause
going.
it's like
I'm a
that.
glutton.
Okay, she brushes her hair against his arm. Does
Yeah,
that do anything?
her hair hurts like whips, like cutting into your skin.
I am so sorry. That's so weird. What?
I can take it. It's
I'm
okay.
done now. That was my last test, but
It's just tears.
I would wipe them, but I can't.
I got it. Don't worry. Thanks. Yeah, let's not do that.
No, let's not.
Isadora walks up. Hey, why are you making Jaeger cry? What did you say to him?
I said
Nothing.
thank you.
Okay, that'll work.
She puts a hand on Max's shoulder.
Does she put one on Jaeger's?
Yeah, I don't know what's got into you guys.
Jaeger,
One arm on each arm.
Jaeger feels like 100-pound kettlebell just slams into your shoulder, and you immense racking pain all through your shoulder.
Oh my
I just
god.
go down to a knee.
Are we killing Jaeger? What's going
Stop.
on?
Well, I don't know.
Please don't.
I just touched him.
Stop touching me.
Why are we killing him? What did he do?
I didn't do anything.
Wait, I thought that it was just me. Wait, what happens? No,
No.
we shouldn't. No,
Nope.
okay. But shouldn't we find out whether or not it's just me or if it's everyone?
What's everyone? What's going on? What happened?
So I lied to you. I didn't say thank you. I probably should have, but I didn't. When I touch him, he just hurts.
Yeah, and when you
Isadora looks at Jaeger and just kind of boops his nose.
Your nose feels broken momentarily.
oh,
Maybe we stop touching him if it's all going to hurt.
Well, we
please.
need to find that out, didn't we?
Why can't
Why?
we touch him?
I think this is probably best if we just stop touching him altogether. I think it is
Yeah,
pretty
okay,
scientifically proven
true,
at this
true,
point
okay,
that anyone who touches
Yeah.
him.
Yes.
He grew 18 shirt
I had to
sizes about
boot this
5
through.
hours ago. Weird shit happens with Jaeger. Maybe this is just another one of them.
Yeah.
I don't like this one.
I'm
Jaeger,
really sorry.
what if your clothes aren't making you hurt, right? Like it's just people, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm not gonna think about it, but now I'm thinking about it. Do my clothes hurt me?
Pick something up.
Your clothes aren't hurting you. No.
I'm going to summon my intangible space cat and have it wander over to him and just kind of brush up against his leg.
Oh,
This is the worst torture ever.
Does she physically touch him when she becomes tangible and brushes against him?
If I recall correctly, familiars are not tangible.
They are
Are they?
not.
What?
No, I don't think they are.
Then
Nope, she phases through you and nothing happens.
Guess I don't even know what happened, so.
You,
No
you
reaction.
see
Spell
you see the
slots
cat
or-
move through you, but nothing.
hold on.
If Spackle comes at me now, can't handle anymore. How about we just save this for later? Stop making me hurt, even though it might be fun.
But this
Not
could be
for
like
me.
a total problem in the future.
Then
Like-
don't ever touch me again. I'm okay with it.
Oh.
We'll figure it out.
We will make you a sign that says "No hugging, please. It hurts me."
I have that, and I'll just flare out my gun.
Oh, but his hugs are so nice.
I have that.
You got a hug from Jaeger? I didn't know he was capable.
Can we go see this dude now?
It's only 8:30.
Oh.
Well, I'm gonna start walking, and I'm gonna go meet Soren's hero, I guess.
Wait, what if you touch yourself?
Nope.
Wait. Don't look at me like that. Just
Phrasing.
Don't you? Aren't you always in physical contact with the self?
I don't like this train of thought.
I love this train of thought.
I am walking out
Are you
the
aware
door.
of how your tongue is sitting in your mouth right now, Jaeger?
Did you know that your bones are always wet?
Oh.
You're now manually controlling your breathing.
Yeah.
And
You are
you
now
can see your
manually breathing.
nose.
Sure.
You can always see your nose.
You all are why I drink. Let's be real.
That's fair.
Are you all heading to meet this guy after some time now
Yeah.
of arguing about
Yeah.
touching Jaeger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Raising!
I mean, you guys were the ones touching him to see how much it hurt him. Jaeger, if
Come
you
on,
haven't figured it
how
out for the next
much?
24 hours, for the next day, everything hurts when it touches you.
God fucking Jesus.
Everything hurts.
Everything is
Sorry.
awesome.
He drank too much bone hurt juice.
My only
Oh.
is that I have bonitis.
Isadora pulls out a flask of very, very potent, smells like cleaning product alcohol, and just hands it to Jaeger very, very carefully. Very, very carefully, so they don't touch.
Don't hand me anything. Set it down. I'll pick it up.
All right. That's fair. She sets it down in front of him. That's just that. I just want to say sorry about earlier. It was funny, but
Appreciate
I
it.
feel bad.
Yeah.
Isadora,
That's my
it's
best.
rubbing alcohol for outside injuries, drinking alcohol for inside injuries.
Exactly.
I'm thinking we may need to get us therapy.
So,
I'm not volunteering for that.
therapy
That's a passive cleric,
aside,
isn't
You
it?
need it.
I don't.
you guys make your way to the Kizervexis Luminary Academy, to the Tower of the Astakiran. A path that the Guardians, or the Wardens of Everything, recently walked to meet with Malara Dora Sailor at the top of the tower.
Are they still there?
They are not. Most of them are dead.
Most of them, but not two of them.
Yeah.
2 of them are probably drinking their sorrows away of 4 of their dead teammates in a tavern.
Can I go join them?
You might want to.
You might not want to. You know how crowded bars can get? You need to be as far away from people as possible.
You'll hear some gunshots.
So you get up, you are brought up the lift of the tower to the very top of the Astakiran, and Malara and Mateo are in the hallway conversing, and they see you come up. Mateo looks at, oh, welcome friends. Thank you for your service. You've been identified as probably the most capable of the adventurers in Busat, and now that Miss you've been reestablished as alive by our good friend from I cannot remember her name. DM brain fart. Shatha. Thank God. It just came to me. Took me like 10 fucking minutes. Holy crap. Our good friend Shatha has reestablished you as alive and having a direct connection to many of the events here that maybe you should be the ones that should speak to Rubris here. Antilocap Rubris. Steel yourselves. Malara, do you have anything else to say to this group? She looks at the group. No, we'll all be in there with you. Rubris is an interesting individual, but has great insights. And
Isadora just kind of rubs Soren's shoulder. Yeah, contain your boner, man.
Is he friendly? Is he going to hear? This
oh no,
news and
he's quite friendly.
out?
He's trying to put some things together. And
We can definitely help with that.
Do we
Yes.
need to touch
no,
him?
no, you do not. He has
Does
quite
he
an-
want to touch us?
Probably best if you don't touch him.
He has quite an interesting guest with him, though. He brought up
Oh,
this interesting woman. I don't know. You should meet her too. I mean, maybe she'll be of some service to you. I've never met her before.
what's her name?
Well, she'll introduce herself. Please, come on in. And she waves you all into this large office that from the outside, you can see the starlight and the moonlight dancing on the floor. And as you all walk into the great observatory of the Astakiran at the top of the tower of the highest peak of the Kizarvexis Luminary Academy, you see this elderly gentleman, Rubris, in deep conversation with Kyoki of the Almafea.
Cool. She's alive.
Nice.
And the two of them are turned backs turned to you, looking over at you. You see Kyoki pointing out some things. She has an old scroll with her. She's looking up, pointing things out amongst the heavens. And Rubris, this mature human male, wizened well beyond his years, with a very dignified aura, reflecting the wisdom acquired through years of intellectual pursuits. Adorned in scholarly robes, you see meticulous embroidery of intricate constellations and planetary symbols. He holds a satchel at his waist filled with these ancient scrolls, and you can see bits of star charts hanging out from them, a variety of trinkets and instruments. As he turns to see the lot of you come in. Oh, hello. It's a pleasure to meet you all. This is Kyoki. Hello, Midnight Parliament. Good to see you again. It's a pleasure.
Kyoki.
Hello.
Glad to see you made it, Kyoki.
Oh, I feel we've been introduced already. If we have not met before, I apologize. I am Rubris Devona. They call me an antelocap here, but it is just an honorary title for the oldest man who studies the stars. How do you all fare this evening?
It's been a very long fucking
It's
day.
been a
Yeah.
very trying day, 2 days.
2 days.
It
48
has.
hours, 63 hours. We are exhausted, but we are very happy to be here.
Yes.
My bones want to crawl out of their skin if it helps.
Well, that's unnerving, but I hope they do not.
Yeah, just don't touch me.
Well, you're
Not,
fine.
not just you, but pretty much anybody.
He pulls back the
Something
staff
else.
that he was like holding out to you momentarily from that
I
has
poke.
intricate
There you go.
carvings of celestial bodies. You see Cyorion floating with like the 2 moons hanging. Kyoki and I have been having an interesting discussion regarding what Malara refers to, that something you found a connection of, is the anchors. He points directly to the 2 moons.
Yes, there seems to be some indication that they are anchors of some sort.
Well, I find that I fear my time has not been wasted. It's been a studious life, and I feel that I'm finally on the brink of bringing us all home.
Home.
Home indeed.
Home where?
You see a smoke start to rise from his feet.
What?
No. Nope. Nope.
Nah,
Nope.
like
Is it a
man.
spell?
Starts to rise from his feet?
Smoke.
Is it a spell?
It is not
is
a
it a
spell.
spell?
It is not a spell. It
I
begins
think you're on fire.
to initiate some sort of effect that is not a spell. But within a moment, you see these fiery red mane of hair erupt from the back of this old man's scalp. You see that fire red hair cascading back, and then his face turns sharp into a pair of adorned, intelligent amber eyes. His skin turns to a rich, russet-shaded fur. As this 9-tailed fox kitsune appears out of the smoke in front of you. I feel it's time that I show my true form, as Kyoki's told me we may be close to finding us all a way home.
What the hell?
I assume none of you have seen a kitsune before. We all hide amongst you, forever trapped on Cyorion, but
Have I heard that word ever?
Absolutely not.
Goddamn.
None of you have. The 7 and the 9-tailed fox folk walk amongst you, blending in with the humans of Cyorion, but
Quite well, apparently.
very well. We are masters
Where's
of disguise and trickery. Well,
Are you?
right there, young lady. And he points to this glittering star in the distance. It deceives you, you see. For we've been trapped behind the kaleidoscope of the shattered sky of Cyorion for over 100 years now since the destruction of Baraz. And the only thing
Are
that...
you?
Yes?
Are you from?
I am from that place there. And the only thing that I can tell is that I have been lost beyond the lens of this world, and my home appears to be stuck in time out there.
Soren just sits.
And that's where we're going to end today's session.
Oh my god.
Dope.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I think I'm onto something.
I hope you are!
Tell us, Sarah. Tell us.
Now we need
Okay,
that Jaeger edit, but
Sharing is
Maximil.
Okay. It's okay. I had like a total of 3 hours of sleep in the past like 48. So it's not good, but I know
to
that
see
I'm
it.
onto something.
You'll love to see it.
There
But-
are connections being made.
Well, we'll have to let those synapses connect in the future and visit it next week.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
no,
Connected
no.
the pieces. You haven't connected shit.
You haven't connected. I love the
I've
big
connected
nose.
them.
Oh god, I love it.
We need to redraw that Jaeger picture, but with
Yeah,
but
with
but
Maximil,
Max.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam,
It's still just me
please.
standing there going.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Sarah, you could have known it all if you decided to be a lore keep, but you got busy work to do, so you go do your busy work. But for the rest of you that are here with us, thanks for joining us today. Sam's on it.
Sam's- I'm on it.
Love it.
Yes,
love it.
Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
I'm on it.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us
Lord.
today.
Good night, everybody.
We'll
Good night.
see y'all next week.
Everybody show off your
Oh yeah, hold on. We
your
all
newly learned
Yeah.
No,
ability.
I'm doing the regular. That's not good
we
enough.
all practiced.
I don't like this.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
did
do it
it.
the old man way.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Have a good night.